Chapter 353. When the lightning dissipated, the charred corpses were all over the floor. Only at this moment did the dice on the table stop rolling in the bowl. 1 point, 3 points, for points, small, merely. None of the surrounding gamblers were able to see this result. The entire room was filled with the smell of burnt corpses. Other than the corpses in the room, a large amount of items had also exploded out from the spatial equipment Xionghe had fused with. There were gold coins, realm pearls, and all sorts of other items. Like a flood gushing out from a dam or a fountain of gold coins, the items began to surge out from the void. In an instant, they filled up half of the room. The amount of gold coins that had gushed out was too heavy. The floor of the room was emitting strange noises from the pressure. It was as if the floor would collapse at any moment. At this moment, Xiao Pingon did not have the time to look carefully. With a wave of his hand, he collected all of the items in the room into his spatial warehouse. After that, he turned around and rushed out of the room. Although he was able to block out the sound in the room, he was unable to block out such an intense fluctuation of divine energy. The other summoners in this building must have sensed it. Right after Xiao Pingon rushed out of the room, 2 summoners rushed out from the room beside him at practically the same time. In an instant, they bumped into Xiao Pingon, who was wearing a wolf mask at the entrance. Both of them were greatly startled. This kind of close combat between summoners was like a bayonet fight. It was a competition of who was faster. Before those 2 summoners could react, 2 icicles flew out from Xiao Pingon's hand and directly pierced through the heads of those 2 summoners. Their heads were smashed into pieces. Those 2 summoners did not even make a sound as their corpses rolled down from the second floor. Another summoner rushed out. Similarly, his head was pierced through by one of Xiao Pingon's icicles. He was directly killed. Truth be told, among the summoners guarding this building, other than Xionghe, who possessed a bit of strength, the rest were mostly at the 1 or 2 sun stage. Compared to a 5 sun stage summoner like Xiao Pingon, the difference between them and a 5 sun stage summoner was enormous. If they were to rush out, they would be throwing away their lives. Right after Xiao Pingon got rid of several summoners, he felt intense fluctuations of divine energy and scorching aura coming from beneath his feet. Fuck! Xiao Pingon cursed in his heart. Without even thinking, a lotus flower appeared beneath his feet. Stepping on the lotus flower, he stepped out of the small building and arrived outside the courtyard of the small building. As soon as Xiao Pingon left, the small building collapsed with a loud rumble. A huge pit more than 10 meters deep appeared under the small building. Lava was boiling in the pit. It was magma that had been melted by the high temperature. The ruins of the small building began to burn. Under such circumstances, even if there were 2 living people in the small building, they would be buried in the magma pit. If they could survive in the end, they would be lucky. Flame Rhinoceros emerged from the ground like a ghost and grabbed Xiao Pingon's hand. Go! The 2 of them entered the ground and disappeared in the blink of an eye. From the time the 2 launched their surprise attack to their quick retreat, the entire process took less than 10 seconds. The entire small building in the mining area was reduced to ruins and a fire crater. It was only at this moment that the guards in the mining area who were closest to the small building cried out in alarm. They noticed the abnormality in the small building. A large group of people rushed toward the small building, shouting and yelling. A few minutes later, Xiao Pingon and Flame Rhinoceros emerged from a nearby hill. Looking down from above, the entire Morality Sect's mining area was in chaos. There was no longer any order in production. Some of the guards who rushed to the small building were still futilely trying to get someone to put out the fire. There were also some guards who were scurrying around the mining area like headless flies, looking for suspicious people. In the face of a summoner's powerful sorcery, ordinary people's methods were too powerless. If they put out the fire now, they would not even be able to find ashes. What happened just now? Why was there such a huge commotion? Xiao Pingon finally found a chance to ask Flame Rhinoceros. Iron Hand, Li was in the underground cultivation room. I killed him and the rest of the people in the building. The commotion was quite big. Now, 3 of the 4 great guardian warriors of the Morality Sect are gone. Flame Rhinoceros chuckled. He glanced in the direction of Yushan City, eager to try. Why don't we go to the Morality Castle and continue to do it? The Morality Castle is definitely empty at this time. That's enough. Given the current situation, we've lost almost half of the Morality Sect's pillars. We can't stay calm even if we want to. If we destroy the Morality Sect, Sect Leader Wei will be so frightened that he won't come back. That won't be good. Let's go. Just as Xiaopingan expected, once something happened at the mining area, 3 of the 4 great guardian warriors of the Morality Sect were dead in 2 days. Only one was left. The entire Morality Sect was stunned and panicked. The protector of the Morality Sect, who had entered Yushan City to negotiate with the Fire Dragon Pavilion, brought the people of the Morality Sect back to the Morality Castle in the afternoon. The entire Morality Castle was in a state of panic. The Taurens and Snake people who received the news revealed their ambitions the next day. Tauren warriors and Snake people sorcerers began to appear around the silver mining area of the Morality Sect. They even clashed with the team sent by the Fire Dragon Sect to protect the mining area. Both sides suffered casualties. Under such circumstances, the Fire Dragon Pavilion did not stay idle. A large number of spearmen and sorcerers from the Fire Dragon Pavilion entered the mining area of the Fire Dragon Pavilion and began to expand the area of the mining area. They crossed the middle line of the mining area that the Morality Sect and began to encroach on the Morality Sect's mining area. Faced with the double pressure from the Fire Dragon Pavilion and the Orcs, the Righteous Sect was leaderless. They did not gain any advantage in the few battles they had with the Fire Dragon Pavilion and the Orcs. Instead, they had lost quite a number of people. The situation in Serene Mountain was suddenly unstable. As the instigator, Xiaopingan had completely stayed out of the matter for the past few days. He watched coldly from the sidelines and quietly waited for Wei Jiangxing to return to the Morality Fort. Child of Fortune had been sent to the Morality Fort by Xiaopingan. He had a thorough understanding of the inside and outside of the Morality Fort. As long as Wei Jiangxing returned to the Morality Fort, Xiaopingan would be the first to know. In order to not expose his whereabouts, Xiaopingan was as careful as a hunter. He did not even enter the spiritual realm. The Dream Demon could enter the spiritual realm. This meant that the Demon Dominator or the Blood Demon Church had a way to merge with the Dream Pearls. Now that the Demon Dominator and the Blood Demon Church were looking for him all over the world, since they knew that he could enter the spiritual realm, they might have set up some traps or tricks in the spiritual realm, waiting for him to enter and expose his whereabouts. Everything was as Xiaopingan expected. However, 7 days after the incident in the mining area, Wei Jiangxing finally descended from the sky and returned to the Morality Castle. What Xiaopingan did not know was that when Wei Jiangxing returned, the Lord of the Blood Demon Church's Golden Moon Temple also led a large group of experts from the Blood Demon Church and quietly entered Yushan City. Night fell. On a mountain more than 200 miles away from Yushan City, one could already see the lights in the basin of Yushan City. The Lord of the Golden Moon Temple stood on the mountain peak. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His emotionless eyes stared coldly at the basin in the distance. Behind him, the blood mist rolled. The spacewalker you mentioned is in Yushan City? That's right. The 2-headed white demonic wolf stood behind the Lord of the Golden Moon Temple. Can you still feel that person now? The distance is too far. The blood mark of the demonic wolf can't sense it. However, as long as it's a little closer, I can. The 2-headed white demonic wolf's 4 eyes flashed with a cunning light. Don't forget the conditions I mentioned previously. The Blood Demon Church's promise is valid. As long as you can find that person, the Blood Demon Church's promise to you will be fulfilled. We will help your tribe to unify all the demonic wolf tribes in the north of Yushan City. We will make you the lord of the demonic wolf tribe in the north of Yushan City. Even if it's not that person, we will give you a reward of 5 million gold coins. With this reward, you can do whatever you want. The Lord of the Golden Moon Temple said coldly. Now, find that person. The 2-headed white demonic wolf did not say a word. It turned into a black smoke and pounced down from the mountain peak, flying towards Yushan City. The Golden Moon Temple Master waved his hand, and a large group of experts from the Blood Demon Church rose into the air. Like a large group of bats in the night sky, They flew over the mountain and followed the two-headed white demon wolf towards Yushan City. Lord, should we inform Wei Jiangxing? After those people left, a man appeared beside the Lord of the Golden Moon Temple and asked softly. The Lord of the Golden Moon Temple's eyes flashed with a strange light. The spacewalker who came here with Xia Pingan previously died at the hands of Wei Jiangxing. The morality sect has been in trouble for the past few days. It is definitely not a coincidence. Those spacewalkers might have a way to communicate with each other. If that person is really Xia Pingan might be coming for Wei Jiangxing. Informing Wei Jiangxing would spoil things. Compared to the reward of the Dominator of Demons, what was a small altar master in Yushan City? After saying this, the Lord of the Golden Moon Temple disappeared. If that person was really Xia Pingan, the opportunity to become a god was right in front of him. This time, no matter what, he could not let Xia Pingan escape. Chapter 2 will be updated later. Chapter 354. The gang leader is back. Thank goodness, the gang leader is back. This time, those Beastmen and Fire Dragon Pavilion will be in trouble. Inside the Morality Fortress, the Morality gang members who were gathered inside the fortress started to cheer. After the past few days of depression and hesitation, with Wei Jiangxing's sudden return, the entire Morality Fortress became lively. Inside and outside the fortress, the cheers of the Morality gang members could be heard everywhere. The Morality gang members who were guarding the walls of the fortress waved their torches excitedly. They could be seen from miles away. As a flame rose into the sky and exploded above the Morality Fortress, a huge red order word appeared in the night sky. The entire Yushan City knew that the gang leader of the Morality gang had returned. The order word that exploded above the Morality Fortress was Wei Jiangxing's gang leader gathering order. This gang leader gathering order was sent to everyone in Yushan City. Xia Pingan and Yanxi naturally saw it too. When the summoning order of the Morality Fortress rose into the sky, the two of them were on a hill 10 miles away from the Morality Fortress. Even though they were 10 miles away, the red light that exploded in the sky dyed Xia Pingan's deep eyes and face red in an instant. Xia Pingan took a deep breath and loosened his tightly clenched fists. He looked at Yin Shi and asked, "Are you familiar with the layout of the Morality Fortress? These few days, you have already said it many times, and we have also practiced it many times. We are already clear. Wei Jiangxing is a cunning person. He lives in the secret underground room of the Morality Fortress. He might even change his room frequently. Later, when he enters the underground room, the two of us will attack. We will enter the underground first, and then quickly lock onto his tracks. He won't be able to escape then." Yanxi nodded and spread out his hands. He said confidently, "This is what I do for a living. You have to believe in my professional standards. That way Jiangxing is at most a 6-sun realm. He isn't that strong. If he is a 7-sun realm, the situation in Yushan City would have changed. According to what we have practiced these few days, it won't be difficult to kill him. Kill Wei Jiangxing tonight, and you'll be free. Our debt will be written off." Xia Pingan suddenly said. Yanxi was stunned for a moment. Then he was overjoyed, just as he was about to speak. But before Xia Pingan could finish his words, he interrupted Flame Rhinoceros. "Don't be happy too early. Even if you can regain your freedom, you'd better pray that nothing happens to me, because once the shape sealing spell is cast, it will leave an eternal spell imprint on your body. I believe you can feel this imprint yourself. It has already merged with your secret mandala. If something happens to me, if I die, the shape-sealing spell imprint in your body will lose the suppression of my power. It will be reactivated by your divine power and go out of control. You will turn back into a pig, and then it will be difficult for you to regain your human form." Yanxi was dumbfounded. His face suddenly turned bitter, and he hurriedly begged, "Can you remove the spell imprint on my body as well? I can swear a blood oath that I will never betray you. Or you can run away for a few months and help me remove the shape-sealing technique completely. By then, we may never see each other again. Even if I want to betray you, I won't be able to find you again." Xia Pingan spread out his hands. Once the shape-sealing technique is used, The spell imprint will be eternal. At least, I have no way to remove it. It's like eating rice. Once the rice is cooked, it will be digested. Do you think you can still spit out the rice? It's the same with the shape sealing technique. Once this technique is used, the result is irreversible. Yanxi looked at Xia Pingan's face and felt that Xia Pingan was not lying to him. He could only accept his fate and nodded. He sighed. Then you have to live well. Live for thousands of years. If something happens to you, I'll be in trouble. Damn it. I've been an assassin all my life. This is the first time I sincerely hope that someone can live well. Let's go. Xia Pingan looked in the direction of the morality fortress. Wei Jiangxing's words were almost finished. He could prepare to make his move. Yanxi grabbed Xia Pingan and dug into the ground, disappearing in an instant. In the morality fortress Jushin Hall, Wei Jiangxing sat upright on the golden chair. His face was slightly gloomy, and his expression was like iron. To be honest, Wei Jiangxing had a rather righteous face. He had a square face with a high and shiny forehead. Under his thick eyebrows was a pair of flashing tiger eyes. He had a thick beard on his face. At first glance, he had the temperament of a Jianghu boss. All right, I know about the situation in Serene Mountain. Let's put the silver mine aside for now. It's just some money. Now that the beastmen have taken some of it, we can take it back in the future and make those beastmen spit it out with interest. Our morality sect priority now is to find the murderer and the mastermind who killed Tu Lai, Xionghe, and Iron Hanley, and avenge the three of them. I, Wei Jiangxing, swear here today that no matter who is behind the three of them, our morality sect will not rest until they are dead. If we find out that the Fire Dragon Pavilion is behind this, I will kill the Fire Dragon Pavilion's pavilion master to avenge our brothers. Wei Jiangxing's words were powerful and resolute. As soon as he said that, the atmosphere in the morality hall was lifted. The hearts of the people who were originally anxious instantly gathered together again. The silver mine was a small matter, but the people were a big matter. This was Wei Jiangxing's attitude. It was indeed uplifting. We are willing to serve the sect master. Under the lead of the two enforcers, the remaining higher-ups of the morality sect in the morality hall stood up and expressed their attitude. Enforcer Ing, tomorrow, brings some people to the outskirts of the city and find the demon wolf warriors and demon wolf magicians who fled to Serene Mountain. Tell them that as long as they can provide us with clues about the deaths of Tu Lai, Xionghe, and Iron Hanley, and find the culprit or the person who hired them, our morality sect will reward them with 1 million gold coins. Since there were so many corpses of demon wolves at the scene of Tu Lai's death, those demon wolves should know something. This incident happened too suddenly, especially the mine incident. Judging from the style, it doesn't seem to be the work of the Fire Dragon Pavilion. The Fire Dragon Pavilion wouldn't be so reckless. Therefore, we can't rule out the possibility that someone is trying to use the conflict between us and the Fire Dragon Pavilion to kill with a borrowed knife, causing both sides to suffer great losses. Wei Jiangxing said shrewdly. Yes. The youthful Ing Fian accepted the order. Enforcer Zhu, keep an eye on the magician camp of the Fire Dragon Pavilion. Once the magician camp of the Fire Dragon Pavilion has any strange movements, I want to be the first to know. Zhu Kongxing, who was dressed in black and had wrinkled skin and white hair, accepted the order. He bowed slightly and replied with a hoarse voice, Yes. The other altar masters, organize your troops and gather the elites in the morality fortress. Get ready to attack with me at any time. Yes. All right, today's meeting will end here. Everyone, you may leave. Wei Jiangxing waved his hand lightly. In the blink of an eye, everyone in the hall left. In the entire hall, only Wei Jiangxing was left sitting on the golden chair, rubbing his forehead tiredly. This time, Wei Jiangxing rushed back because he had received news from Serene Mountain. He had no choice but to return. If he didn't return, the Blood Demon Sect's Serene Mountain branch might really be destroyed. Before returning to Serene Mountain, Wei Jiangxing and a large group of people from the Blood Demon Sect were pursuing Xia Pingan in Tongzhou province of the Great Shang Nation. Previously, there was news from Tongzhou that Xia Pingan's tracks had been found. Therefore, a large group of people from the Blood Demon Sect were attracted to go there. In fact, Other than Tongzhou, there was news from the southern region of the Gold Moon continent, the seas outside the Great Shang Nation, and many places around the Great Shang Nation that someone had found Xiaoping's tracks. In some places, there were even people from the Blood Demon sect who had fought with Xiaopingon. No one knew if these news were true or false. However, every news that came out would attract a large number of people from the Blood Demon sect to investigate. Even the hierarch of the Blood Demon sect, after hearing that Xiaopingon's tracks had been found in the seas outside the Great Shang Nation, and that 2 of the members of the Blood Demon sect who had found Xiaopingon's tracks had been killed by Xiaopingon, he personally went to the seas to investigate. Wei Jiangxing had also been investigating outside for 2 months. On one hand, he had to find Xiaopingon. On the other hand, he had to fight a battle of wits and courage with the summoners from all over the Great Shang Nation to eliminate the Blood Demon sect. He was already exhausted. Being able to return to Serene Mountain again, Wei Jiangxing also felt relieved. This was because he felt that even if Xiaopingon's tracks were found outside, this fat piece of meat would not be his turn. Rather than this, it was better to return to Serene Mountain and be his local tyrant peacefully. Seeing that everyone in the Jushin Hall had left, Wei Jiangxing sat on the golden chair for a while with a contemplative look on his face. He went through the things that had happened in Serene Mountain recently. Finally, he pressed on one of the armrests of the golden chair. Below the golden chair, there was a pitch-black hole. The entire golden chair, along with Wei Jiangxing, who was sitting on it, slowly sank into the ground. In a morality fortress, the underground was the safest. The underground secret passageways of the morality fortress crisscrossed, and there were many different secret chambers distributed. There were also many security measures around the secret chambers. Not even a fly could easily fly in. Whether it was cultivation or rest, it was safer than in the fortress. Wei Jiangxing often rested and cultivated in different secret chambers underground. Even the people closest to him could not easily grasp his whereabouts underground. Walking down from the golden chair, Wei Jiangxing entered an underground secret passageway. The walls on both sides of the secret passageway were inlaid with pieces of fluorite that glowed in the dark. The light from the fluorite turned the underground secret chamber into a wretched green, like a ghost town. After a while, Wei Jiangxing casually came to an underground secret chamber. He closed the door of the underground secret chamber and locked the mechanism on the door. Wei Jiangxing waved his hand and summoned a few combat soldiers to guard the secret chamber. Then, he moved his hand and took out a realm pearl and a divine sense crystal. The realm pearl and the divine sense crystal were extremely precious and special realm pearls that he had obtained by chance when he was running around outside for the past 2 months. This realm pearl was called the God's Ear Realm Pearl. It was very famous among the summoners. Once this realm pearl was fused, the hearing of the summoner's ears would be raised to an unimaginable level. It was like the help of God. On the realm pearl and the divine sense crystal, for golden characters flashed, Suyu ear washing, but Wei Jiangxing did not recognize them. Wei Jiangxing sat cross-legged on the cattail hassock in the secret chamber. He took out the realm pearl and the corresponding divine sense crystal and pricked his finger to drip his blood. In the blink of an eye, Wei Jiangxing was wrapped in a cocoon of light. From the beginning to the end, Child of Fortune had been following Wei Jiangxing, jumping around him. He even reached out and poked the cocoon of light surrounding Wei Jiangxing. What was even more unexpected to Wei Jiangxing was that when the cocoon of light had just wrapped around him, one of the walls of the secret chamber suddenly turned red. The rocks on the wall turned into magma and flowed down in an instant. Then a thick layer of metal outside the rock to prevent the invasion of the escape technique melted in an instant. A brilliant vermilion bird flew into the secret chamber. In a face-to-face encounter, the few combat soldiers that Wei Jiangxing had summoned to the secret chamber for warning were turned into ashes. Xiaopingon and Yin Rhinoceros suddenly drilled out of the soil layer behind the hole in the wall. Damn, what kind of luck is this? Seeing the cocoon of light surrounding Wei Jiangxing, Yin Rhinoceros was surprised and looked at Xiaopingon with an incredulous look. The time and room of the surprise attack were chosen by Xiaopingon. Yin Rhinoceros did not expect that when the two of them came out, they would see Wei Jiangxing fusing the realm pearl in front of them. A summoner who was fusing with the realm pearl had no ability to resist and was no different from a baby. Chapter 355. Xiao Pinggan looked at Wei Jiangxing in the cocoon of light, and Lin Qing's face flashed across his mind. When Wei Jiangxing was fusing with the Su Yu ear-washing realm pearl, Xiao Pinggan had already arrived. He had also seen what child Xiao Pinggan had seen. Xiao Pinggan had been waiting for Wei Jiangxing to start fusing with the realm pearl before taking action. Xiao Pinggan was very familiar with the story of the Su Yu ear-washing. If this story was coordinated with the divine thought crystal, it would take a very short time. Wei Jiangxing might very well finish fusing and wake up very quickly. Therefore, Xiao Pinggan did not waste any time. Brother Lin Qing, today I will kill this person to avenge you. Xiao Pinggan calmly walked in front of Wei Jiangxing's cocoon of light. Without saying anything, he reached out and touched the cocoon of light. Then, he directly spat a fireball into it. Villains died because they talked too much. If you wanted to kill someone for revenge, you had to be direct and efficient. Although it might be more satisfying to let Wei Jiangxing wake up and reprimand him righteously, making him cry and wail before killing him, it was actually nonsense and useless. Even if an altar master of the Blood Demon Church was repenting in front of him, it was still fake. Moreover, as long as such a person lived for a second longer, there would be more trouble. There were only two words for revenge: life and death. Every minute and every second of this person's life was not considered revenge. Only death counted. Letting these trash die, letting people like Wei Jiangxing die when he thought he could successfully fuse with the realm pearl, was the simplest and most effective way to comfort his companions. Inside the cocoon of light, Wei Jiangxing looked like he was being cremated in an urn. His body started to burn bit by bit. After a few seconds, the cocoon of light on his body started to vibrate chaotically. Then, before he was completely cremated, Wei Jiangxing's face twisted in pain, but he could not move his body. Blood started to flow out of Wei Jiangxing's mouth, nose, eyes, and ears. After a few more seconds, when the burning tongue reached his chest and neck, and when the skin on his hands and feet started to turn black, Wei Jiangxing's head finally exploded with a bang. His brain matter scattered like flowers, shattering the cocoon of light around his body at the same time. The realm pearl fusion failed. His head exploded. This result made Xiao Pinggan feel a little frightened. Summoners were really too weak when fusing with realm pearls. When Flame Rhinoceros tried to assassinate him last time, if he was still fusing with the realm pearl, he would have died as well. The headless Wei Jiangxing's body was still sitting cross-legged on the stone bed. Strangely, his body did not fall down. Instead, it was twisting. Xiao Pinggan saw that the wound on Wei Jiangxing's neck where his head had exploded was still rapidly growing. His charred and carbonized skin was peeling off piece by piece. Under the skin, new skin could be seen growing out at a speed visible to the naked eye. Wei Jiangxing's body seemed to have a strong vitality. He was unwilling to die like this and was still struggling, trying to revive. This scene made Xiao Pinggan's scalp tingle. Damn it! Xiao Pinggan waved his hand. The flame surrounding Wei Jiangxing instantly became several times fiercer, revealing the shape of a vermilion bird. Finally, the flame prawn stopped struggling in front of Wei Jiangxing's corpse. It quickly turned into ashes in the raging flames, no longer showing any signs of life. Then, Wei Jiangxing's spatial equipment also exploded. Gold coins, pills, and the box containing the realm bead poured out of the secret room. Xiao Pinggan did not check. He simply waved his hand and collected all the items that had exploded. He shouted, "Let's go!" The flame rhinoceros grabbed Xiao Pinggan and escaped through the big hole in the wall of the secret room in an instant. From the moment the two appeared to the moment Wei Jiangxing failed to fuse with the realm pearl and was cremated, less than 8 seconds had passed. The assassination was completed in an instant. Until Flame Rhinoceros brought Xiao Pinggan out of the Morality Fortress, the people in the fortress did not even realize that their guild master Wei Jiangxing had been killed. Just now, some of the people above might have felt the fluctuation of divine power from underground. However, Wei Jiangxing was underground. Those who felt the fluctuation of divine power from underground might have thought that Wei Jiangxing was using some kind of summoning technique. If it was said that Wei Jiangxing was assassinated in less than half a minute after entering the fortress, the people above might not believe it. Child of Fortune locked on to the target and confirmed the time and place of the ambush. Flame Rhinoceros, who controlled the earth-burrowing technique, responded to the situation at any time. Xiaopinggan and Flame Rhinoceros perfect ambush. Wei Jiangxing's death was not unjust. After a while, in the dense forest 10 miles away from the Morality Fortress, Flame Rhinoceros and Xiaopinggan suddenly emerged from the ground. The Morality Fortress in the distance was still peaceful. The Morality sect members were still cheering. All right, the grudge between the two of us is written off. The journey of the martial world is long. Take care of yourselves. As Xiaopinggan spoke, he handed Flame Rhinoceros a few rel pearls. Those were the spoils of war just now. Xiaopinggan had fused with these rel pearls. They were useless to Xiaopinggan. These realm pearls are for your travel expenses. I won't let you work for nothing. Flame Rhinoceros was silent for a while, but he still took the realm pearls from Xiaopinggan. He looked deeply at Xiaopinggan and said, I didn't think that you would really let me go. Xiaopinggan smiled and said, You and I have no grudges. The matters of the martial world should be settled in the martial world. You won't be at ease by my side. Why are you forcing it? If fate wills it, we'll meet again. All right, don't forget to pray for me to live a long life. Haha. After speaking, Xiaopinggan turned around. In a few flashes, he was already 100 meters away, flying towards Yushan City. Flame Rhinoceros was also an experienced martial artist. He had seen all kinds of people and experienced all kinds of dangerous situations. However, he had never seen someone like Xiaopinggan. He failed to assassinate Xiaopinggan. Xiaopinggan did not take his life in the end. Originally, Xiaopinggan could have made him a slave for the rest of his life, but Xiaopinggan let him go. He could even share the spoils of war with Xiaopinggan. Flame Rhinoceros stood in the same place, looking at Xiaopinggan's disappearing figure. He was stunned for a while, then shook his head and muttered, Damn it, why do I feel a little reluctant? Do I have a tendency to be abused? Thinking of this, Flame Rhinoceros could not help but shiver. He slapped himself in the face and muttered. Then he burrowed into the ground and headed towards the Shang dynasty. Things in the world were so coincidental. In the eyes of the Golden Moon Temple Master, Wei Jiangxing was someone who could be sacrificed at any time. Therefore, the Golden Moon Temple Master did not tell Wei Jiangxing about the danger of returning to Yushan. The Golden Moon Temple Master even had the idea of using Wei Jiangxing to lure people out. However, the Golden Moon Temple Master would never have thought that Wei Jiangxing, who was already a Sixth Sun Realm expert, would be easily killed in the Morality Fortress a few minutes after returning to the Morality Fortress. He did not put up any resistance or struggle at all. Instead, he was silently fusing with the Realm Pearl. A large number of experts from the Blood Demon Church and the Golden Moon Temple Master followed Wei Jiangxing to Yushan. The distance of a few hundred miles created a time difference. Xiaopinggan had already killed Wei Jiangxing and returned to Yushan City. A large number of experts from the Blood Demon Church were still on their way to Yushan City. Of course, Xiaopinggan did not expect that after he killed Wei Jiangxing, a greater danger had quietly arrived. Very quickly, Xiaopinggan silently returned to the hotel that he had rented in Yushan City. After killing Wei Jiangxing and avenging Lin Qing, Xiaopinggan had resolved one of his worries. Xiaopinggan suddenly relaxed. Although the Blood Demon Church Temple Master was still alive, Xiaopinggan knew that he was still not a match for the Blood Demon Church Temple Master. If he wanted to kill the Blood Demon Church Temple Master, he would have to wait until he reached the Eighth Sun Realm. Where should I go next? After returning to the hotel, Xiaopinggan looked at the Yushan City that was lit up with lights outside the hotel. This question flashed through his mind as he started to think about where he should go next. Yushan City was a lawless place with all sorts of people. This place was suitable for escaping, but definitely not for cultivation, especially for someone like Xia Pingon. Although a few rare realm pearls would occasionally appear in the auction house here, the number of rare realm pearls here was far too few. The cultivation resources here were relatively poor, and it was completely incomparable to places like Shangjing City. If he continued to stay here, he might not be able to advance to the Sixth Sun Realm even after 10 years. Therefore, Xia Pingon would leave Yushan City. However, he had not thought about where to go after leaving Yushan City. Xia Pingon had not thought about it yet. Xia Pingon wanted to go to a place with many rare realm pearls. It seemed like some void secret realms had rich cultivation resources. However, void secret realms had all sorts of strange things. Xia Pingon was not sure which one was the most suitable for him. He still needed to spend time to gather relevant information before he could make the right decision. That's right, Wei Jiangxing had dropped many items and realm pearls. He had not checked them carefully. Now, he could see what he could use. Outside Yushan City. After leaving Yushan City for tens of miles, Yin Rhinoceros came out from the ground. Seeing that there was no one around, he stuck close to the ground and rushed towards the border. Flying in the air looked good, but it was too eye-catching. He could expose his location at any time. To an assassin, that was the most stupid thing to do. Unless he had no choice, a top assassin would not fly in the air and expose his location. The higher he flew, the faster he would die. This was a famous saying in the assassin circle. To Yin Rhinoceros, the best way to escape was to stick close to the ground and use the terrain as cover to escape. If he met with danger, he could escape underground immediately. Just as he was about 50 to 60 miles away, Yin Rhinoceros felt some movement in the forest in front of him. Yin Rhinoceros's expression changed slightly. Without thinking, he dived underground. A few seconds later, a two-headed white-haired demon wolf rushed out from the valley in front of him. Behind the two-headed white-haired demon wolf, there was a huge group of blood demon sect experts. They were filled with killing intent. They stuck close to the ground and followed the two-headed white-haired demon wolf. Yin Rhinoceros wanted to return to the Shang Nation from Yushan City, while those people wanted to return to Yushan City from the Shang Nation. Unknowingly, the routes of both parties met in the wilderness. Chapter 356. Wei Jiangxing was indeed the altar lord of the Blood Demon Church in Serene Mountain, a hidden giant. He had a lot of things on him. Xia Pingon was in the hotel room, taking stock of his gains that night. He was overjoyed. For a summoner, carrying a bit of food and gold coins in their spatial equipment was the most basic thing they could do. On the contrary, Wei Jiangxing didn't bring many gold coins with him, only a few tens of thousands. Usually, he wouldn't be able to spend his money. Instead, he brought more than 600,000 gold coins with him from the Shang dynasty, which was not a small fortune. In addition to the gold notes, Xia Pingon found a few special things in the bottles and jars on Wei Jiangxing's body. In a pitch-black medicine bottle, there were the words black poison on the outside. This black poison was the same as the black poison that Xia Pingon was almost assassinated by the nightmare demon. It was just that the amount of black poison in the bottle was very sufficient. In addition to the black poison, there was also a porcelain white bottle with the words Iron Stone Blooming on it. This bottle also scared Xia Pingon. Xia Pingon had heard of the name Iron Stone Blooming, but had never seen it. According to legend, this thing was known as the world's best aphrodisiac. This aphrodisiac was said to be able to make a stone bloom if it was dropped on it, let alone a human. Legend had it that this thing could make a summoner below the 9th level fall for it. He did not know where Wei Jiangxing got it from. The third bottle was a black crystal bottle with the words Immortal Elixir on it. Just by opening the bottle of Immortal Elixir, a strange fragrance entered Xia Pingon's nostrils. It made Xia Pingon feel as if all the pores on his body had opened. It was exceptionally comfortable, and the blood in his body became lively. There were still 6 immortal elixirs in the bottle. This item should be a rare item even in the Blood Demon Church. Looking at the bottle of immortal pills, Xia Pingon thought of Wei Jiangxing's terrifying regenerative abilities when he killed him. Could it be that Wei Jiangxing's terrifying regenerative abilities came from these immortal pills? No matter what, The immortal elixir was definitely a good item for the experts of the Blood Demon Church to scramble for it. It was a good treasure. Xiao Pingon carefully kept it. Other than that, Wei Jiangxing also had over 30 realm beads and 7 to 8 spiritual sense crystals. Those spiritual sense crystals were useless to Xiao Pingon, but they might be of great use to others. As for the realm pearls on Wei Jiangxing's body, most of them have been merged by Xiao Pingon, but there were still 2 realm pearls, which made Xiao Pingon overjoyed. One of the 2 world pearls was the giant's world pearl, which had a few words flashing within it. You the great harvest giants. Previously, Xiao Pingon had seen the same realm pearl at the Rock King auction house. Unfortunately, he had not been able to bid for it. He had not expected to unexpectedly obtain it in Secluded Mountain. Apart from this realm pearl, the other realm pearl also surprised Xiao Pingon. This was because the Xiaozhuan in the realm pearl had a name that most people were not familiar with, Chun Jinlong. Chun Jinlong was very famous in history. He was the father of Chinese sweet potatoes. Chun Jinlong was a great person who had made indelible contributions to the Chinese food industry in the Ming Dynasty. Chun Jinlong's historical achievements were almost comparable to Yuan Shinong's in the future. Among Wei Jiangxing's spiritual sense crystals, there were no corresponding spiritual sense crystals for these 2 realm pearls. Therefore, Xiao Pingon was not sure whether Wei Jiangxing had merged with these 2 realm pearls or not, because he did not have the corresponding spiritual sense crystals. However, no matter what, these 2 realm pearls were now his. Xiao Pingon had been coveting the giant's realm pearl for a long time. Tonight, he had obtained it. Just as he was about to take out the giant's realm pearl to merge with, a black shadow flashed in the house. Flaming rhinoceros came out from the ground and pounced into the house. He stumbled and fell to the ground. Xiao Pingon was shocked. The flame rhinoceros that jumped out from the ground was covered in blood. There were more than 10 wounds on its body that could be seen with the naked eye. Most of its clothes were burnt. There was a wound on its shoulder that even exposed the bone. There was a trace of black smoke lingering around the wound. It was a terrible sight. When flaming rhinoceros separated, he was still alive. How did he become like this in the blink of an eye? Xiao Pingon rushed to Flaming Rhinoceros's side and helped him up. What happened? Flaming Rhinoceros's face was pale gold. There was still blood coming out of his nose and mouth. He opened his eyes and looked at Xiao Pingon. He panted heavily. His face was filled with anxiety as he said, "Leave quickly. The Blood Demon Church has discovered your whereabouts. A large number of experts from the Blood Demon Church are rushing towards Yushan City. Before they know where you are, leave quickly. Any later, it will be too late." As Flaming Rhinoceros spoke, he spat out large chunks of blood. There were pieces of his organs in the blood. Xiao Pingon's expression changed when he saw this. Flaming Rhinoceros's injuries were very serious. Xiao Pingon checked Flaming Rhinoceros's body. He realized that Flaming Rhinoceros's internal organs looked like they had been squeezed out from a road roller. Many of his organs were broken. Not only that, even Flaming Rhinoceros's secret mandala seemed to have been shaken violently and was showing signs of instability. To be able to injure Flaming Rhinoceros like this, it was definitely an expert above the Seven Sun realm. Looking at the Flame Rhinoceros's appearance, Xiao Pingon gritted his teeth. Without even thinking, he took out the bottle containing the immortal pills that he had just obtained and poured out 2 fiery red immortal pills from the bottle. He pinched open the Flame Rhinoceros's mouth and without another word, poured them into the Flame Rhinoceros's mouth. "Hurry up and swallow it." Flaming Rhinoceros swallowed the 2 immortal elixirs along with the fresh blood that was about to gush out of his mouth. The immortal elixirs were indeed miraculous. After swallowing the 2 immortal elixirs, within a few seconds, Flaming Rhinoceros's wounds began to stop bleeding and heal. Flaming Rhinoceros's pale gold face regained some color. Flaming Rhinoceros's internal organs were also recovering rapidly. However, his secret mandala was still shaking. What did you feed me?" Flaming Rhinoceros's eyes regained its spirit. "Immortal elixirs. Damn it, immortal elixirs. This is a treasure, the injuries on my body. 1 is enough, 2 is too much of a waste." Flaming Rhinoceros grinned and struggled to stand up. He sat down on a chair and panted heavily. He wiped the fresh blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "I almost couldn't make it back. What's going on?" "You have the mark of the Demon Wolf clan's vengeance curse. Do you remember the two-headed white demon wolf that escaped after failing to kill Turi? That two-headed white demon wolf could feel the mark of the Demon Wolf clan's vengeance curse on your body." Flaming Rhinoceros said. Under the effect of the two immortal elixirs, his body was recovering rapidly. "That two-headed white demon wolf found the people from the Blood Demon sect. Just now when I was leaving Yushan City, I met them halfway. They're coming to Yushan City to look for you." Flaming Rhinoceros grinned and said, "Damn it, if you die, I won't be able to live either." I made up my mind and suddenly emerged from the ground and killed the two-headed white demon wolf that was leading the way. However, when I was escaping, I was almost killed by the people from the Blood Demon sect. The Lord of the Golden Moon Temple from the Blood Demon sect is also here. They will arrive at Yushan City soon. Xiao Pingon sucked in a breath of cold air and broke out in cold sweat. The Demon Wolf clan's vengeance curse on his body was left on Earth. He did not expect that the people from the Demon Wolf clan would sense it in Yushan City. Fortunately, Flaming Rhinoceros killed that guy. Otherwise, he would not even know how he died. If I leave, you'll also die if you stay. In your current state, you have already met the people from the Blood Demon sect. How can you escape from the Blood Demon sect's pursuit? Flaming Rhinoceros laughed bitterly. It's better than both of us dying together. The Lord of the Blood Demon sect's Golden Moon Temple is an expert of the Eight Suns realm. Even if both of us are tied together, we won't even be able to withstand one finger of his. Just as Flaming Rhinoceros finished speaking, Xiao Pingon felt a strong wave of god power in the sky outside. Boy Fu Shun immediately jumped out of Xiao Pingon's secret mandala and came to the roof of the hotel. He raised his head and looked at the night sky. He saw that in the sky above Yushan City, there were hundreds of black figures floating in the sky. There were also black figures flying around Yushan City. The entire Yushan City was surrounded. Chapter 357. Secluded Mountain City was originally a chaotic place. The sudden arrival of the divine power in the sky alarmed the entire Secluded Mountain City. With the arrival of the Blood Demon sect, the Secluded Mountain City became restless. The summoners, orcs, and even the sorcerers of the Demon Wolf clan all came out of their houses when they felt the presence of the divine power. In an instant, many figures flew into the sky from all over the Secluded Mountain City, wanting to investigate the situation. So fast, Yinshi also felt it. He raised his head and looked at the roof. His chest rose and fell. They are rushing in so brazenly. It seems like they will not give up until they get what they want. They must find you. Leave quickly. Xiao Pingon frowned slightly. The more dangerous the situation was, the calmer Xiao Pingon became. His mind was clear as he quickly planned and analyzed the situation in front of him. At this time, panicking was courting death. Maybe the situation is not that bad. Since you have killed Sorcerer Mo Lang, the Blood Demon sect will not be able to find me in a short period of time. They will also not be able to confirm whether I am in Secluded Mountain City. The most important point is that until now, they have not been able to confirm whether the person who appeared in Secluded Mountain City is me or another spacewalker. Xiao Pingon calmly analyzed the situation in front of him. They don't know it is you? Xiao Pingon's gaze deepened. Of course they don't know. The sorcerer Mo Lang that you killed could only confirm that there was a spacewalker in Secluded Mountain who killed his clan member. There's so many spacewalkers. How can they be sure that it is me? If they can confirm that I am in Secluded Mountain, the one who came to Secluded Mountain now is the leader of the Blood Demon sect. Also, Wei Jiangxing has been killed by us. Once they find out that Wei Jiangxing has been killed, they will be a loss and will be even more anxious. Why? If I were the Lord of the Golden Moon Hall of the Blood Demon sect, I would think that after killing Wei Jiangxing, the killer might have already left Yushan and would not continue to stay in Yushan. The people of the Blood Demon sect that you met outside Yushan City can prove this point. Let me ask you, Under such circumstances, do you think they would continue to search in Yushan City, or would they immediately leave Yushan City to search for someone? If those people from a blood demon sect were not flustered and exasperated, they would not have charged into Yushan City so brazenly. Since they are in such a hurry, it means that they have lost their composure. What you said makes sense. Flaming Rhino nodded and raised his head to look at the roof. In the night sky outside, there was already the aura of the collision of techniques. His eyebrows twitched again. Damn it! Hurry up and turn me into a bird. I feel that the possibility of me surviving as a bird is greater. If those people from the Blood Demon Church see me like this, both of us are finished. Xiaopinggan nodded and did not say anything. He pointed at Flaming Rhino, and with a bang, Flaming Rhino's body turned into an eagle owl in the smoke. After turning into a bird, Flaming Rhino's clothes fell to the ground with a crash. Xiaopinggan kept Flaming Rhino's clothes and cleaned up the traces left behind by Flaming Rhino. In the whole house, there was only him and a bird left. Just like when he first came to the inn, he did not attract any attention at all. Xiaopinggan pushed open the door of the house and calmly walked into the courtyard. He raised his head to look at the night sky and saw that in the night sky, the brilliance of the fireballs of the summoners were like fireworks blooming in the sky, lighting up the night sky. The entire Yushan City could see it, and even the ordinary people were alarmed. A strong dragon could not suppress a snake in its old haunts. With so many experts from the Blood Demon sect here, it would be strange if the local snakes of Yushan City did not do anything. At this moment, in the night sky of Yushan City, other than the people from the Blood Demon sect, many summoners and mages of Yushan City had already soared into the sky. The collision of fireballs was just a test to the summoners. Seeing that Xiaopinggan had left the house, Flaming Rhino flapped its wings and flew out of the house. It jumped onto Xiaopinggan's shoulder and looked at the scene in the sky with Xiaopinggan. Who are you people? In the night sky, a summoner with white hair and beard released another fireball to cancel out the opponent's fireball. It exploded in the sky, and he quickly retreated and asked loudly. The people from a Blood Demon sect were all wearing the same ghost masks. They were cold and strong. The number of experts from the Blood Demon sect made all the mages and summoners of Yushan City fearful. In the entire Yushan City, all the summoners of the Four Sun Realm and above added together were not as many as these people in front of them. The abilities of both parties were not on the same level. One of the experts from the Blood Demon sect, who was fighting with the summoner, shot out an icicle and chased over. A snake person mage beside him waved his hand, and a black smoke shot out like an arrow and destroyed the icicle. Both parties did not use their full strength and were only testing the waters in the air. Facing these people who had suddenly arrived, all the summoners and mages of the various powers and races in Yushan City had unknowingly stood on the same side. Both parties were in a stalemate. The cake in Yushan City had already been split and was now in a relatively stable state. Now that these people had suddenly appeared, everyone was worried that it would affect their own interests. Naturally, they had to unite against them. From now on, no one in Yushan City is allowed to leave. Those who try to escape will be killed without mercy. The expert from the Blood Demon sect, who was wearing a golden mask, said coldly in the night sky. The local snakes of Serene Mountain, who flew into the sky, were shocked and angry. Who are you? What right do you have to give orders in Yushan and order us around? A Naga sorcerer started making a ruckus. He flicked his tongue about a foot away and glared at the people from the Blood Demon Church with his golden eyes. The secluded mountain is our territory. Even the Shang dynasty can't occupy it. Can't we just swallow the entire secluded mountain? Oh, is that so? A cold voice suddenly sounded. As soon as he finished speaking, the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace of the Blood Demon Church suddenly appeared beside the Naga sorcerer who had just spoken. He grabbed the Naga sorcerer's head with one hand, and a cloud of rolling blood-red mist directly enveloped the Naga sorcerer's body. Then, the Naga sorcerer screamed loudly. When the other two snake-person mages saw this, they were shocked. Without thinking, they raised their hands, and two fire snakes and 2 streams of black smoke flew out from their hands and blasted towards the Golden Moon Hall Master. This time, it was no longer a spar, but an all-out attack. The Golden Moon Hall Master's face revealed a cruel smile. He stretched out one hand, and a blood-red hand appeared in the air. The blood-red hand easily shattered the 2 fire snakes and the 2 streams of black smoke. It scooped up the 2 snake-person mages in the air and squeezed. Bang! Bang! The bodies of the 2 snake-person mages were like 2 small earthworms under the blood-red hand. They had no power to resist and were directly crushed. Their internal organs and flesh turned into a bloody pulp, overflowing from the gaps between the fingers of the blood-red hand and sprinkling down from the air. The Yushan natives in the air were shocked. Their faces changed dramatically, and they broke out in cold sweat. They quickly retreated. The 2 snake-person mages who were crushed were 2 masters of the Yushan snake-person tribe. Their strength was close to the 5 Suns realm. They did not expect that such snake-person mages would be crushed to death by the evil-looking young man. What kind of magic was that? The body of the snake person who was screaming in pain in the hands of the Golden Moon Hall Master shrunk little by little under the pressure of the red fog. Finally, under the gaze of the crowd, it turned into a wriggling snake. The Golden Moon Hall Master opened his blood-red lips and revealed his snow-white teeth. He threw the small snake into his mouth and chewed it a few times as if he was eating a spicy strip. He directly swallowed the small snake and wiped his mouth. A cold smile appeared on his face. With such strength, is it enough? The Blood Demon Church. Finally, a summoner exclaimed. The Blood Demon Church wants to find someone in Yushan City. Whoever disagrees can step out now. The Golden Moon Hall Master coldly scanned the people in the air. Everyone turned pale, and no one dared to step out. Once the Golden Moon Hall Master made his move, the Yushan natives all fell from the sky, and no one dared to make sound. At this moment, the Golden Moon Hall Master was filled with murderous intent and anger. Just now, he went to the Morality Castle and found out that Wei Jiangxing had been killed in such a short time. He died under the Golden Moon Castle and turned into ashes. Once Wei Jiangxing and the Demon Wolf Sorcerer died, the Golden Moon Hall Master's plan was ruined. In less than an hour, the situation in Yushan City had changed drastically. Now, even the Golden Moon Hall Master did not know whether the spacewalker who appeared in Yushan City was Xia Pinggan or someone else. Was that person still in Yushan City? Once Wei Jiangxing died, the murderer might have left Yushan City overnight. Seeing that the opportunity to become a god had slipped through his fingers, the Golden Moon Hall Master was furious. The 3 Snake People sorcerers were unlucky to have fallen into his hands and allowed him to establish his power. Should he continue to search in Yushan City or immediately send people to pursue? At this time, the Golden Moon Hall Master was also hesitating. But in the end, he had to make a difficult decision and gave a few orders. Following the orders of the Golden Moon Hall Master, the experts of the Blood Demon Church immediately split into a few groups. 4 of them, with Yushan City as the center, headed towards the north, south, east, and west directions of Yushan City to see if they could find any traces. Another group of people went to the territory of the Demon Wolf clan in the north to find a few demon wolves who were related to the Demon Wolf Sorcerer and could sense the curse mark of the Demon Wolf clan to come to Yushan City. The Golden Moon Hall Master continued to lead people to seal off Yushan City and did not let go of any chance. When the Lord of Golden Moon Palace gave his orders, Blessing's boy floated in the air and listened to his every command. Chapter 2 later. Chapter 358. 3 days later, Xia Pinggan sat in a room on the 4th floor of the Heaven Song restaurant in Yushan City. He looked at the long queue that was 1,000 meters away from Yin Mountain City and used a silver spoon to take small sips of Heaven Song restaurant's famous bird's nest 8 treasures porridge. He smiled in disdain. On the window beside Xia Pinggan, there was a bird rack. On the rack, there was a listless eagle owl. For 3 whole days, Xia Pinggan did not go anywhere. He just stayed in Yushan City and watched as the Blood Demon sect anxiously wreaked havoc in Yushan City. Nothing happened to him. The queue in the distance was the queue that was leaving the city. Everyone who wanted to leave Yushan City had to be checked by the experts of the Blood Demon sect. The so-called check was to let the people of the Blood Demon sect use a mirror to see what they looked like. The people in the queue were angry, but did not dare to say anything. They could only accept the check obediently. This was because at the entrance, there was a row of bloody heads. Some of the heads belonged to humans, some belonged to beasts, and some belonged to demon wolves. The reason why these heads were hanging there was because they did not obey the orders of the Blood Demon sect and wanted to leave Yushan City. They then clashed with the Blood Demon sect. In just 2 days, hundreds of people were killed in Yushan City. There were people from the Blood Demon sect guarding the entrances and exits of Yushan City. Those who left the city had to use a mirror to look at their faces. There were also people from the Blood Demon sect patrolling the sky. From a certain perspective, Yushan City had temporarily fallen. In front of the bloody methods of the Blood Demon sect, those who once occupied Yushan City were all silent. They all pinched their noses and silently agreed with the current situation of Yushan City. What do you think this is? When did Yushan City become the territory of the Blood Demon sect? Inside the Heaven Song restaurant, a few tables of people who were having their meals shook their heads and sighed as they complained. The Righteous Gang, the Fire Dragon Pavilion, the Heavenly King's Residence, the Orc Alliance, the Divine Snake Mountain, and the Demon Wolf City. Aren't these people usually quite arrogant? Why are they so quiet now? Lower your voice. I heard that the Hall Master of the Blood Demon sect's Golden Moon Hall is here. He is a true 8-Sun Realm expert. No one in Yushan City can beat him. We can only lower our heads. Didn't the Blood Demon sect want to find Xia Pingon? It has been so many days. How can Xia Pingon still be in Yushan City? He must have run away. Furthermore, we have not heard of such a person coming to Yushan City before. I also feel that even if Xia Pingon came to Yushan City before, it has been so many days. Xia Pingon would not stay here obediently. Don't worry, the Blood Demon sect will not stay in Yushan City for long. At a table not far away, an old man with a white beard who was followed by 2 bodyguards sneered. The Blood Demon sect has caused so much trouble in the Great Shang Nation. The entire Great Shang Nation is hunting down the Blood Demon sect. Once the Great Shang Nation knows that so many people from the Blood Demon sect have gathered in Yushan City, there will definitely be a reaction. Since that night, the people from the Great Shang Nation in Yushan City have all disappeared. The people from the Great Shang Nation have already hidden and spread the news. Now, perhaps the experts from the Great Shang Nation are already on their way to Yushan City. Let's watch the show. Oh, so it is Master Ma-san. You're also here to eat porridge today? Among the guests in the Heaven Song restaurant, someone immediately recognized the old man and greeted him. That old man seemed to be an important person in Yushan City. Our family stockyard business has also stopped. I've been bored at home for the past 2 days, so I came out for a walk. Our Yushan City can maintain its status today, which is the result of the compromise of several big powers. It's all about balance. Behind the orcs and the demon wolves, there are powerful people from their own tribes. If anyone wants to break the balance, the other parties will never agree. Master Ma stroked his beard. Brilliant, brilliant. Now that Master Ma-san said so, we are relieved. Eagle Owl, who was standing on the bird stand, listened to the discussions of the people in the Heaven Song restaurant. He looked at Xia Pingon, who was eating porridge leisurely with his big eyes. He was already admiring Xia Pingon. Obviously, there was a huge crisis in front of them, but the person involved in the crisis acted as if nothing had happened. Sometimes, in the face of a crisis, it was more difficult to stay still. Staying still required more courage and wisdom than moving. Flame Rhinoceros asked himself if he was Xia Pingon, he would definitely want to escape from Yushan City that night. However, Xia Pingon chose to stay. This required a good assessment of the situation, accurate and sharp judgment and vision, and the courage to remain calm even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of them. Xia Pingon had been dancing on the edge of a knife for the past 3 days in Yushan City. Those people from the Blood Demon sect were right in front of him, but he was not injured at all. He could even sit here and eat bird's nest porridge. What was ability? This was ability. At the same time, on the highest peak outside Yushan City, the Golden Moon Temple Master was standing on the peak. He looked at a huge ritual implement in front of him with a cold expression. The celestial device, placed in front of the Lord of Golden Moon Palace, was more than 5 meters high. The whole celestial device looked like a huge egg. There was a dragon at each of the 8 corners of the celestial device, namely the east, south, west, north, southeast, southwest, northeast, and northwest. There was a toad under each dragon's mouth, corresponding to the 8 directions around it. If Xia Pingan was here and saw the ritual implement, he would definitely exclaim, "Isn't this a seismograph?" Compared to the seismograph, the strange part was the middle part of the ritual implement. The middle part of the ritual implement was blurry, like a circular window. The entire underground situation of Yushan City could be seen through the light and shadow of the ritual implement. The flow of the underground water in Yushan City, the number of pangolins in the mountain, and the number of people in the underground tunnels of Yushan City could all be seen through the ritual implement. In short, this ritual implement could monitor everything that could move underground. Under the surveillance of this ritual implement, techniques such as Earth escape would not be able to escape. In addition to this immortal treasure, the Golden Moon Temple Master had summoned thousands of shadowless bloodbats to fly around in the sky. Together with the experts from the Blood Demon Church in the sky, they sealed off the entire sky of Yushan City. Underground, in the sky, and on the ground, the 3 of them were one. There were no blind spots. Now, in the entire Yushan City, even a bird would need the permission of the Blood Demon sect if it wanted to fly out. The Golden Moon Temple Master did not look good. He had been guarding here for 3 days and found nothing. This made him suspect that the person might have already left Yushan City, and he was busy for nothing. Or, this time, the situation in Yushan City could be that there was a spacewalker in Yushan City who purposely leaked his whereabouts so that the demon wolf sorcerer could sense it and attract the attention of the Blood Demon sect. In the past 2 months, Xia Pingan had appeared many times in and around the Great Shang Nation. In the end, each time, someone had deliberately set up a trap. They had been here for a few days. The movements in the Great Shang Nation were getting bigger and bigger. The pressure was also increasing. The search team of the Blood Demon sect at the border of Yushan City had already fought with the summoners of the Great Shang Nation's border army several times. There were already casualties. However, the Golden Moon Temple Master had to persist and give himself and the people of the Blood Demon sect an explanation. What if the person who appeared here was really Xia Pingan and Xia Pingan was still in the city? Once such an opportunity was missed, it would be a missed opportunity to become a god. As long as the demon wolf sorcerer who could sense the vengeful curse mark of the demon wolf clan was here, it would soon be clear whether that person was still in the city. Thinking of this, the Golden Moon Temple Master suddenly felt something. He looked towards the sky in the north. Finally, there was a trace of joy on his cold face. Reporting to the Golden Moon Temple Master, there are not many sorcerers in the Saga Demon Wolf clan. Previously, the Saga Demon Wolf clan lost in the internal strife of the Demon Wolf clan. Many of them have been killed, and some have been exiled. We only found 2. A team of experts from the Blood Demon sect returned with 2 Demon Wolf sorcerers who were trembling with fear and greed in their eyes. They were reporting to the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace. The Golden Moon Temple Master took a deep breath and said, "Bring them to Yushan City and search separately." Yes. 2 teams of experts from the Blood Demon sect brought the 2 Demon Wolf sorcerers and entered Yushan City from the north and south. They began to search. At the top of the Heaven Song Tower, Xia Pingan narrowed his eyes and suddenly became alert. Is he here? The sensing of the vengeful curse mark of the Demon Wolf clan was not without a distance limit. This kind of sensing could only be sensed when it was within a certain range. Once it was far away, it could not be sensed. This sensing range was about less than a kilometer. Yushan City was a big basin. Although it was not very big, it could accommodate a kilometer. At this moment, Boy of Blessings became busy. He began to jump around the 2 Demon Wolf sorcerers and pass the location information to Xia Pingan. After sitting at the top of the Heaven Song Tower for a while, Xiao Pingan paid the bill and carried the bird rack downstairs. He began to walk around Yushan City. More than 20 minutes later, under the silent and slightly hostile gaze of Master Ma and the others in the Heavenly Song Building, a team of masters of the Bloody Demon Church and a demon wolf master walked past the street below the Heavenly Song Building, looking left and right. At this moment, Xiao Pingan was trying on clothes in a clothing store more than 2 kilometers away. After trying on the clothes for a while in the boutique, Xiao Pingan left the boutique and sat down in a waterside pavilion on a nearby street. A search team with magic wolves and mages were walking on the street 1,000 meters away from the boutique. After sitting at the waterside pavilion for more than 20 minutes, Xiao Pingan carried the bird rack and left the waterside pavilion. He went all the way south and found a tea house to drink tea leisurely. Half an hour later, Xiao Pingan left the tea house and went to an opera house to listen to people perform. After a while, Xiao Pingan came out of the opera house and continued to walk around the streets of Yushan City. At this moment, if someone could make a mark on the 2 demon wolf sorcerers and Xiao Pingan in the sky, they would definitely realize that these 3 marks were constantly moving around Yushan City, forming a stable triangle. The marks of the 2 demon wolf sorcerers seemed to have searched the entire Yushan City a few times. As for Xiao Pingan's mark, it was constantly moving around the city. However, it was always at least a kilometer away from the marks of the other 2 demon wolf sorcerers. The 2 demon wolf sorcerers and 2 teams of experts from the Blood Demon sect searched from morning to night, from dawn to dusk. They had walked through every road in Yushan City more than once, but the 2 demon wolf sorcerers did not sense anything. Chapter 359. It was already late into the night. Palace Master, we have searched the entire secluded mountain city multiple times today. We have searched every corner more than once, but we have not found anything. On the highest peak outside secluded mountain city, the Golden Moon Palace Master listened to his subordinate's report. He looked down at secluded mountain city and waved his hand, passed down the order, everyone evacuate. Yes. Previously, the Golden Moon Palace Master had suspected that the target had left the city. Today's search confirmed his guess. During the search today, the entire Yushan City was under the surveillance of the Blood Demon sect. Among the experts of the Blood Demon sect who were following the 2 demonic wolves, 2 of them had already used a secret technique of the Blood Demon sect. As long as someone was following the 2 demonic wolves and the search team, they would be locked on immediately. Other than that, the air and underground of secluded mountain city were heavily guarded. No one flew into the sky, no one burrowed into the ground, and no one moved quickly to hide in the city. Under such circumstances, the 2 teams searched the city multiple times but did not find anything. This could only mean that the person had already left secluded mountain city. If that person was still around, the Golden Moon Palace Master could not imagine what kind of ability that person had to be able to hide so well under such a search. He was a little unwilling, a little regretful, but also a little relieved. This was how the Golden Moon Palace Master felt at the moment. Once the Golden Moon Palace Master gave the order, the experts of the Blood Demon sect at the various checkpoints in secluded mountain city rose into the sky and were about to leave. But at this moment, a thin flame suddenly flew from the sky to the east of secluded mountain city like a meteor. The speed of the flame was unbelievably fast. At first, it was still 100 miles away, but in the blink of an eye, it had already flown tens of miles away. Looking again, it was about to reach secluded mountain city. The bright fiery light penetrated through the clouds, illuminating the night sky orange. After the thin fiery light flew past, a thunder-like rumbling sound came from the sky. The clouds in the sky were stirred up, revealing a clear path of the fiery light. Ling Wuyue, are you in a hurry to leave? It's been more than 60 years since the last time we met in the Chaos Divine World. Your little face hasn't changed at all, huh? Seeing the flame and hearing the voice, the Golden Moon Palace Master's childish face turned frosty. His eyes were filled with boundless killing intent as he stared at the flame. His blood-red lips opened slightly as he spat out 4 words through gritted teeth, "Leave fire, Lord of Heaven." Seeing the fiery light rushing towards the Golden Moon Hall Master, the group of experts from the Blood Demon Church who were originally at the south of Yushan City did not hesitate to stop it. The rules of the Blood Demon Church were strict. If they did not stop anyone who was targeting the Lord of Golden Moon Temple, they would end up in a miserable state. All of a sudden, the brilliance of all kinds of summoning techniques blossomed in the sky, and all of them blasted toward that streak of fiery light. That streak of fiery light did not dodge, but suddenly exploded. It was as if a hole had been opened in the blue sky. Boundless flames spread out in the sky like a broken dam. The rolling waves of fire completely ignored all the attacks and directly swept through. All the attacks that came in contact with the rolling waves of fire were like guns and cannons that came in contact with the rolling waves of fire. They only stirred up a small wave and were annihilated in the blink of an eye. They could not stop the direction of the waves of fire at all. There were about 40 to 50 experts from the Blood Demon Church who attacked. Their faces changed drastically, but they did not even have time to escape before they were annihilated by the waves of fire. In an instant, those experts from the Blood Demon Church turned into ashes. The spatial equipment that they had integrated with all exploded. All kinds of things such as gold coins, elixirs, celestial weapons, fell from the sky like rain. The rolling waves of fire lit up the entire sky of Yushan City completely. So powerful. Xiao Pingan stood on the streets of Yushan City. He raised his head and looked at the night sky of Yushan City that was lit up by the waves of fire. He was dazzled, and his mouth was a little dry. This was the first time that Xiao Pingan had seen such an expert attack in front of him. It was too powerful. The Iron Masked Man and Lin Yi were also very powerful. However, Xiao Pingan had never felt such an overbearing and overwhelming power from them. Those experts from the Blood Demon Church who attacked in the sky just now were summoners who were above the 4-sun realm. There were quite a few who were at the 5-sun realm, and there seemed to be some who were at the 6-sun realm. However, when that person attacked, they were all crushed in an instant. They did not even have the ability to resist. The gap between high-level summoners was like a chasm. It was really terrifying. With just one move, those experts from the Blood Demon Church who were flying in the sky were like birds that were startled by the twang of a bow. They immediately scattered in all directions. The entire Yushan City was silent in front of the waves of fire that lit up the night sky. There were many people who were daring enough to risk their lives in Yushan City. Some of them saw many things falling from the sky. The sky was filled with gold coins that fell like golden snowflakes. Under the light of the fire, they shone with a golden light. It was like a bright golden waterfall that fell from the sky. It was very tempting. Many people did not even think and rushed towards the place where the items fell. The Great Shang Nation, the experts from the Great Shang Nation are here. In the inn beside Xiao Pingan, many people stuck their heads out of the windows of the inn and looked at the sky. They shouted excitedly. Yushan City had been too repressed these few days. They had been bullied by the Blood Demon Church. Seeing that there were experts coming, they immediately became happy. Xiao Pingan did not move. He just stood at his original position and raised his head. He looked at the bright sky. On the bird stand in his hand, the silly bird opened its mouth slightly and looked at the night sky in shock. Many people might not even see such an expert attack in their lifetime. Ling Wuyue. It has been a long time since someone called me by this name. Seeing a large number of his experts being killed in front of him, the Golden Moon Temple Master's face was cold. It was as if he was watching a group of insects being trampled to death in front of him. He gently raised his hand, and the experts of the Blood Demon Church in the sky immediately flew towards the west as if they had been pardoned. They did not dare to stay for a moment longer. Yes, those friends who called you by this name that day were all killed by you. Li Fire Heaven Lord walked out of the fire waves that filled the sky. With a gentle wave of his sleeves, he did not take away a single cloud. The flames that filled the sky instantly vanished. He was able to retract and release them freely, as though they had never appeared. Li Fire Heaven Lord looked at the Golden Moon Temple Master with a complicated gaze. There was killing intent in his indifference, determination, and a trace of pity. There are many wrong souls on the road to becoming a god. Today, you have become the famous Leaf Fire Heaven Lord. Do you think the number of people who died at your hands is less than the number who died at my hands? The Golden Moon Temple Master sneered. Leaf Fire Heaven Lord shook his head and walked towards the Golden Moon Temple Master step by step in the sky. I am different from you. I have killed many people, but I have never harmed my friends. You're wrong. I've never harmed my friends because I don't need any friends. I don't have any friends. I only need a stepping stone on the road to becoming a god. The Lord of Golden Moon Palace's eyes were cold, and his lips curled into a disdainful smile. So, your stepping stone includes Xiao Wu. As Leaf Fire Heaven Lord spoke, his gaze became colder and colder. However, the aura on his body suddenly became more intense. Shut up! The Golden Moon Temple Master suddenly roared. His eyes became ferocious, and a layer of scales appeared on his forehead. The aura on his body suddenly became crazy, and a tumbling blood cloud appeared behind him. It covered the sky and the moon. It was as if countless demons and ghosts were about to pounce out from the blood cloud. Hee, is this your road to becoming a god? In the end, you have turned yourself into something that is neither human nor ghost. I have not seen you for decades. Let me see how strong you are today. As Leaf Fire Heaven Lord spoke, 3 horizontal lines appeared above his head. The middle one of the 3 lines broke apart, bringing with it an unfathomable heavenly might and endless flames as it suddenly descended. The flames and blood cloud began to collide in the sky above secluded Mountain City. They wanted to devour each other. The violent collision produced a loud rumbling sound that reverberated in the sky like thunder. That was Li Hexagram. On the ground, Xiaoping looked at the 3 horizontal lines that were emitting boundless power in the sky. He was stunned and had an indescribable feeling. Chapter 360. The battle in the sky was beyond the comprehension and imagination of ordinary people. From Xiaoping's point of view, the battle in the sky was like 2 spaces colliding and trying to swallow each other. In the flames and blood clouds, the Leaf Fire Lord of Heaven and the Golden Moon Temple Master had disappeared. They cannot be seen on the ground. Occasionally, a streak of blood light and flames would overflow from the sky. It was majestic and spanned dozens of miles. The overflowing streak of blood light hit the mountain outside, secluded Mountain City. The plants on the mountain instantly withered and lost all their vitality. The overflowing flame landed on the mountain outside the city. With a loud boom, it burned a huge, smoking, pitch-black hole on the mountaintop. The inside of the hole was like the crater of a volcano as it was filled with red magma. If an ordinary summoner were to face such a battle, they would be injured or killed even if they were 10 miles away. The blood light and flames in the sky lit up the entire secluded mountain city like it was daytime. The entire secluded mountain city was trembling from the collision, and all living things were silent. Fortunately, such a battle did not last long. In less than half an hour, the streak of blood light suddenly became a streak of blood and disappeared towards the west. Then, the flames disappeared too. They became a streak of fire and chased after the streak of blood light. The entire sky of secluded Mountain City darkened and returned to its night state. The brilliance of the stars and the 2 moons in the sky was revealed again. If it weren't for the smoke rising from the flattened mountain outside the city and the fiery red lava flowing down, the battle just now would have seemed like it had never happened. Woo, woo, woo. The sound of the eagle owl and the flapping of its wings finally woke Xiaoping, who was immersed in the battle between the experts. Looking at the 3 horizontal lines of the Li trigram and the flames that filled the sky, Xiaoping felt something in his heart and thought of many things. He also vaguely touched a trace of the secrets of the world of the strong. His mind could not help but be immersed in it. The Blood Demon church members in Yushan City had all disappeared. At this moment, Yushan City regained its commotion, and it was the best time to leave Yushan City. Let's go, Xiaoping said to the eagle owl. The eagle owl immediately rose from its perch and flew towards the east. Flame Rhinoceros' secret mandala hadn't recovered from the shock yet, but as a bird, he had the ability to fly, so he could fly away. To the east was the direction of the Great Shang Nation. The Blood Demon Church couldn't do as they pleased in the Great Shang Nation. Hence, to avoid being hunted down by the Blood Demon Church, temporarily returning to the Great Shang Nation was the best choice. As for where to go next after reaching the Shang dynasty, he could slowly think about it. Seeing the eagle owl fly up, Xia Pingan also leaped into the air. He cast the illusion of the fire beacon toying with the feudal lords. In the eyes of outsiders, he also turned into an eagle owl and followed behind the flame rhinoceros, flying towards the east. Xia Pingan had remained calm and collected when he stayed that day. Now, he was leaving without any hesitation. Although the people from the Blood Demon Church had left, to a place like Yushan City, new chaos and fights had just begun. In the wilderness to the east of Yushan City, the bloody fights and killings had become more intense. The items that the experts from the Blood Demon Church who had been killed by Li Fire Lord of Heaven had dropped from their interspatial equipment had become the targets of these people. Just now, the sky was filled with countless gold coins. In the light of the fire, it was like a shining waterfall that poured down from the sky. Many people saw this scene, and there were even more people who wanted to take advantage of the situation and rushed over. Besides the gold coins, the experts from the Blood Demon Church definitely had other good items on them. Experts like Li Fire Lord of Heaven wouldn't be interested in those items. However, to many residents of Yushan City, those items were treasures that were worth fighting for with their lives. Such a fight was like a wild dog seeing a bone falling from the sky. It was also like a hungry crocodile seeing fresh meat falling into a pool. The fugitives in Yushan City, the wandering demon wolf warriors, demon wolf sorcerers, the gang members, the rogue summoners who wanted to make a fortune, all rushed over. "This is mine." A Tauren threw away the huge axe in his hand and picked up a large amount of gold coins from the ground in ecstasy. Before he could put the gold coins into his pocket, a demon wolf warrior had already rushed over from the side and stabbed his blade into the Tauren's lower abdomen. The demon wolf warrior was very ruthless. The knife that was stabbed into the bull-headed man's abdomen was pulled upwards, causing the wound to widen by more than 10 times. It went from the bull-headed man's abdomen to the bull-headed man's chest. The bull-headed man screamed in pain. Fresh blood and intestines spurted out from a wound, following which the demon wolf warrior kicked him in the abdomen and he fell on his back. After killing the bull-headed man, the demon wolf warrior quickly picked up the hundreds of gold coins that were scattered on the ground. He even picked up the soil and grass on the ground along with the gold coins and kept them in his arms. At this moment, he didn't have the time to pick up the gold coins carefully. Anyway, he didn't care what the shiny items on the ground were. He just had to grab them first. In the surrounding few square kilometers of wilderness, forests, and valleys, there were sounds of killing and fighting everywhere. In the few days that the Blood Demon Church had been in Yushan City, hundreds of people had died in Yushan City. As for the items that the experts of the Blood Demon Church had killed and dropped from the sky, the number of deaths had already exceeded a few hundred. Some of the people who rushed here first were smart. After finding some benefits, they immediately left this place. As for the greedy ones, they wanted to continue searching. Soon, they were dragged into the fighting and killing behind and died an unnatural death. There was also a continuous stream of people running out of Yushan City to participate in the fighting here. There weren't many summoners who had spatial equipment. That was the high-level equipment of summoners. Those who didn't have spatial equipment in their arms and arms. When others saw them, they would immediately snatch them. From the moment someone started to attack to the moment someone started to kill, it only took a short while. After killing the Tauren, the demon wolf warrior quickly picked up the gold coins on the ground and found that the Tauren was still holding a few gold coins in his hand. Without saying anything, he chopped off the Tauren's thick palm and spread open the Tauren's fingers to collect the remaining gold coins. After doing all this, the demon wolf warrior saw that the killing in the distance was a little fierce. He was a little scared and turned to leave. However, just as he ran a few steps, The demon wolf warrior's sharp eyes saw something shining in the bushes on the ground beside him. The demon wolf warrior scooped up the thing from the bushes with one hand. It was a boundary pearl that was shining with yellow light. "I'm rich." The demon wolf warrior was overjoyed. Just as he was about to run away with the boundary pearl, a fireball suddenly came from his side and turned the demon wolf warrior into a torch. The demon wolf warrior screamed and jumped away. Before he could take a few steps, an icicle flew over and nailed the demon wolf warrior to the ground. "Are you the one who should take this thing?" A cold-looking summoner flashed out from the side and grabbed the boundary pearl that the demon wolf warrior dropped on the ground. His face was filled with joy. Seeing a group of summoners, naga mages and magic wolf mages fighting over something in the valley not far away. This summoner with a gloomy expression shrunk his head and didn't dare to be greedy. He immediately ran away after snatching the Rel Pearl. The summoners and naga sorcerers were fighting over a few bronze mirrors. The bronze mirrors were diamond-shaped. The two ends were slightly longer and the middle was slightly narrower. It was like an eye, and the entire bronze mirror was shining with a strange light. This bronze mirror was the magic artifact that the Blood Demon Church used to search for Xia Pingon in Yushan City. It was the reflection mirror. This magic artifact was very rare and could see through all disguises and transformations. Its value was huge and was far above the rare boundary pearl. The initial estimate was at least 100,000 gold coins. The two Blood Demon Church members were very careful when using it. One could imagine how precious it was. Hence, the fight over it was the most intense. There were 4 such artifacts that had exploded in the sky. One of them had already been obtained by a summoner who quickly fled with it. There were still 3 more artifacts here. A large group of experts were fighting over them, and the battle was also the most intense. After summoning an assassin to kill a magic wolf sorcerer, a human summoner snatched a reflection mirror and leaped into the air without a second thought, quickly fleeing into the distance. Leave the magic artifact behind. A large group of summoners, naga sorcerers, and demon wolf sorcerers chased after him with red eyes. All sorts of firework attacks were thrown at the summoner who was about to escape. More than half of the attacks landed on the summoner's body. The summoner's body dissipated like smoke. Not good. It's an illusion. The moment the illusion dissipated, the summoner who snatched the magic artifact was already 700 to 800 meters away. He was flying toward the mountains outside Yushan City and was about to leave the battlefield. Just as the summoner flew over a forest, a black smoke shot out from the forest like an arrow and directly hit the summoner. The summoner who snatched the magic artifact screamed in pain and fell from the sky, rolling onto the mountaintop. Seeing the group of summoners, the naga sorcerer and the demon wolf sorcerer charging at them with bloodshot eyes, the summoner who had fallen on the hillside already had a dark expression on his face. Black blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He looked at the reflection mirror in his hand. Although he was unwilling to give up, he still gritted his teeth and threw the reflection mirror with all his might. He threw the reflection mirror into the bottomless valley below and quickly escaped in another direction. They didn't care about the summoner who had left the battlefield. Everyone rushed towards the deep valley and started fighting on the way. In the deep valley, there was a thick fog and dense vegetation. The magic artifact that fell into the valley disappeared in the fog in the blink of an eye. Xia Pingon and Flaming Rhinoceros also noticed that there were many people fighting over the items that fell from the sky in the east of Yushan City. The two of them avoided the battlefield and flew out of Yushan City through a deep valley. Then a magic artifact suddenly fell from the sky and landed in the forest in front of them. Flaming Rhinoceros and Xia Pingon coincidentally flashed past the forest above the magic artifact. The magic artifact that was originally calm suddenly blinked like an open eye. Chapter 361. A few minutes after Xia Pingon and the Flame Rhinoceros flew past the reflection mirror, 5 summoners, 2 naga mages, and 3 magic wolf mages flew down from the top of the valley. They flew into the dense thicket and quickly started searching. After searching for 5 or 6 minutes, one of the Naga mages suddenly saw the reflection mirror. The reflection mirror was hidden in the thicket. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't have noticed it. The Naga sorcerer didn't say a word. When he flew past the Dharma artifact, he swung his tail and stuck it to the Dharma artifact. Then he put the reflection mirror Dharma artifact into his close-fitting Dharma robe. Nothing out of the ordinary could be seen from his appearance. He continued to pretend to be searching. A few minutes later, where's the reflection mirror? It was thrown down from above. It should be nearby, a summoner muttered as he searched. At the same time, he was on guard against the mages around him. It should be nearby. Did someone pick it up? A magic wolf mage roared, revealing his white teeth. He scanned the surroundings of the valley with his sharp eyes. The valley was foggy and it was nighttime, so visibility was poor. Earlier, when everyone was fighting above, they didn't immediately rush down. Therefore, they weren't sure if the reflection mirror had been picked up by someone else. The eyes of a Naga mage who had picked up the reflection mirror spun strangely. After flicking his tongue, he suddenly said, if someone was hiding in the valley, then the item thrown down from above might have been picked up by someone else. It's best if we split up and search. See if there's anyone else in the valley. If we continue to delay here, then the person who picked up the reflection mirror might have already left the valley. When the mages heard this, they felt that the Naga mage's words made sense. The magic wolf mage roared angrily. He looked in the direction of the valley and was about to give chase. However, a lean human summoner narrowed his eyes and stared at the Naga mage. He suddenly sneered, "Wait, it's also possible that someone among us has already picked up the reflection mirror, but secretly hid it and continued to pretend to look for it. That's why the reflection mirror suddenly disappeared. The person who picked up the reflection mirror must be thinking of a way to sneak away without arousing suspicion. It's best if he pretends to look for someone else and then runs away." Hearing this, the magic wolf mage, who had just taken a few steps forward, suddenly stopped. He turned around and stared at the Naga mage who had picked up the reflection mirror. The other two who were about to leave also stopped in their tracks and stared at the Naga mage. The Naga mage took a step back. He held his snake-bone staff and looked at the lean human summoner with a dangerous gaze. He immediately turned the tables and said with a fierce expression, "You want to frame me? Hee, this valley is so deep and hidden. Even if someone was hiding in this valley, it wouldn't be so coincidental that they would be hiding near the reflection mirror. Although we were delayed for a while, we still came down very quickly. Even if someone was really hiding in this valley, that person might not have been faster than us, let alone leaving. Therefore, the most likely possibility is that the reflection mirror wasn't picked up by someone hiding in this valley, and it wouldn't have disappeared for no reason. Instead, it was picked up by one of us. I wasn't sure if it was you if you didn't speak, but now that you spoke, I knew that it was most likely you who picked up the reflection mirror," the skinny human summoner shrewdly analyzed. He then took a step forward and glanced at the Naga mage with greedy eyes. He threatened, "Hand over the magic tool. That magic tool isn't something you can take for yourself. If you want to take it for yourself, you'll have to see if you still have the life to live." The other summoners and magic wolf mages surrounded the Naga mage with unfriendly looks. Another Naga mage hesitated. He didn't know whether he should stand in front of his own kind or force the Naga mage to hand over the reflection mirror. The Naga mage who had picked up the reflection mirror was about to say something when his expression suddenly changed. He started to tremble violently. The summoners and magic wolf mages who had just surrounded him thought that the Naga mage was going to use some secret spell. They were startled and hurriedly took a few steps back. However, the trembling Naga mage didn't cast any spells. Instead, his body trembled more and more violently, and an expression of extreme pain appeared on his face. His eyes widened in horror, and his mouth gaped open. The staff in his hand had already fallen to the ground. He grabbed his neck and throat with both hands, trying to make a sound, but no sound came out. "Hee, trying to force us to retreat with such a petty trick? Too naive." The lean human summoner sneered and took 2 more steps forward. Then, the human summoner saw the scales on the trembling Naga mage start to fall off one by one. His originally lustrous eyes turned ash-gray in an instant, and his skin shriveled. His entire body was like a deflated balloon or a dried radish exposed to the sun, rapidly shrinking after losing its moisture. Boom! The body descended in the blink of an eye. When it had shrunk to half its original size, it suddenly exploded and turned into a tumbling blood-red mist. Behind the blood-red mist was the reflection mirror. It was floating in the air, emitting a strange blood-red light. It was like an open blood-red eye that was staring at everyone present. What is this thing? The surrounding summoners and magic wolf mages were all stunned by this sudden turn of events. However, before they could react, the blood-red mist suddenly turned into 9 rays of blood-red light and shot towards the summoners and mages. The summoners were unable to resist and were entangled by the 9 rays of blood-red light. Then, the 9 bodies instantly shriveled and exploded, turning into balls of blood-red light, just like the Naga mage from before. The copper mirror floating in the air instantly absorbed the bloody light. Following that, the copper mirror suddenly exploded, turning into hundreds of diamond-shaped fragments. The diamond-shaped fragments floated in the air and connected together, forming the shape of a door. In the next second, Zhu Ma Tian, the hierarch of the blood demon sect, whose hair and beard were all blood red and had a vertical eye between his eyebrows, stepped out of the bloody portal, his demonic aura soaring to the sky. Just a few minutes before Zhu Ma Tian stepped out of the copper mirror portal, Xia Pinggan and the flame rhinoceros had already flown out of the valley and away from the battlefield outside Yushan City. Outside the valley was a winding mountain road leading to the Shang Kingdom. On the road, a black 4-wheeled carriage with a lantern was parked by the side of the road. One of the wheels of the carriage was stuck in a hole in the road. For a moment, the carriage couldn't move. Such a carriage wouldn't have attracted Xia Pinggan's attention. However, just as Xia Pinggan's gaze swept across the carriage, he saw a familiar face standing beside it. Jing Yuxing, Elder Jing. This was Xia Pinggan's roommate when he first arrived in Shangjing City. The two of them had taken the same boat to Shangjing City and spent half a month together on the boat. Xia Pinggan had benefited greatly from this. Jing Yuxing opened a small bookstore in Shangjing City and stood aloof from worldly affairs. When Xia Pinggan was in Shangjing City, he took the time to visit Jing Yuxing once and drank tea with him in the bookstore, but that was it. Elder Jing stood beside the carriage that was stuck in the ground and looked helplessly at the coachman who was trying to pull the carriage out of the hole. However, no matter how hard the coachman and the 2 horses pulled the carriage, the wheels were still a distance away from being pulled out of the hole. Why was Elder Jing in Yushan City? It wasn't peaceful outside Yushan City. If a carriage was stuck here in the middle of the night, the people below would be in danger if there were bandits or criminals. A strange thought arose in Xia Pinggan's mind, but he didn't delay. He called Yin Shi, and Xia Pinggan withdrew the illusion. His whole body directly fell from the sky and landed near the carriage's headlights, just enough to let Jing Lao and the coachman see his face. Seeing Xia Pinggan descending from the sky, the coachman, who was directing the horses to pull the carriage out of the hole, was shocked. However, Elder Jing was calm and didn't make a fuss. He even smiled and said to the coachman, "Look, someone is here to help. Sir, is there a problem with your carriage?" Xia Pinggan said as he walked towards them with a smile. Before the coachman and Elder Jing opened their mouths, Xia Pinggan had already come to one side of the carriage and put one hand on the bottom of the carriage. Closely after that, the heavy carriage chassis and carriage were lifted up by Xia Pinggan. Closely after that, the wheels of the carriage left the pit. "Old mister, the carriage is fine now. We can leave now." Xia Pinggan smiled and said to Elder Jing, Thank you, thank you." Elder Jing looked at the sky and stroked his beard. He then said to Xia Pinggan directly, "It's late now, and the mountain road is not peaceful. Our carriage has been stuck here for too long. I'm a bit worried on the way. I see that you are very capable. Can you escort me for a while and accompany me along the way?" Jing Yuxing's request was a bit unreasonable. However, it was reasonable at this moment. "That's good. It just so happens that I'm going the same way as old mister, so I'll have to bother old mister." Xiao Pingan waved his hand, and the flame rhinoceros transformed into an eagle owl landed on his shoulder. The coachman opened the door of the carriage and let the two of them in. After that, he closed the door and continued to drive the carriage at a moderate speed. The carriage was very spacious and elegant. Besides the sofa at the back, there were also a table, a bar, and a small bookcase. This carriage was a bit like a station wagon, which was a magical tool for long-distance travel in this world. Recently, Secluded Mountain has not been peaceful. Why did old Mr. take a carriage to Secluded Mountain alone? Xiao Pingan sat in the carriage and asked. I came to Yushan Mountain to see an old friend. Elder Jing smiled and looked at Xiao Pingan with a genial look. Have you seen your old friend? Of course. That day, I arrived at Shangjing City with my old friend by boat. Today, I left Yushan Mountain with my old friend by carriage. This is fate. Rivers and mountains are easy to change. My old friend is safe and sound. Not bad, not bad. This is also a great pleasure in life. After hearing Elder Jing's words, Xiao Pingan was shocked. However, before Xiao Pingan opened his mouth, the fiery rhinoceros who had turned into an eagle owl had instantly turned into a human figure with a bang. Closely after that, it put a sharp dagger against Elder Jing's neck as it glared at Elder Jing ferociously. Old thing, I don't think you're an ordinary person. You must be setting a trap for us when the carriage got stuck on the road. Tell me, what's your purpose? If you dare to play tricks, be careful that I will stab some holes in your neck. And she didn't know the past between Elder Jing and Xiao Pingan. He just felt that this old Beastra-starred was too suspicious. Don't be rude. Xiao Pingan hurriedly stopped him. Elder Jing smiled and flicked his finger. With a bang, the fiery rhinoceros that had just turned into a human turned back into a dumb frog. It landed on the table in the carriage and looked up blankly at Xiao Pingan and Elder Jing, who had suddenly become tall and big in the carriage. Yanxi didn't understand what was going on. He wanted to open his mouth. However, he just croaked twice. After that, Yanxi became stunned. Elder Jing reached out his hand and took out a blue-colored glass lamp from the carriage. He flipped the lamp cover over and covered the flame rhinoceros who had turned into a frog on the table with the lamp cover. It couldn't even jump up. Chapter 362. Currently, Xiao Pingan only knew how to seal pigs, rabbits, and vultures. He did not include frogs. Seeing how Elder Jing turned the flame rhinoceros from a human into a frog with a snap of his fingers, Xiao Pingan knew that Elder Jing was not an ordinary person, even if he was stupid. Elder Jing's strength was probably beyond his imagination. His encounter with Elder Jing today was not a coincidence. What's more, Xiao Pingan was not stupid. Seeing Elder Jing smiling at him, Xiao Pingan didn't hesitate anymore. He took off the Rui mask on his face and revealed his true face. Xiao Pingan greets Elder Jing. Xiao Pingan bowed to Elder Jing and smiled bitterly. I have embarrassed myself in front of you again. I did not mean to hide it from you. It is just that I cannot even protect myself now. I have just escaped from the Blood Demon Church, and I am afraid that I will implicate Elder Jing. Hence, I have no choice but to hide my identity. Please forgive me. Elder Jing smiled and nodded his head. It's not easy for you either. You were able to get out of that deadly situation in Shangjing City with ease. You almost got out of that deadly situation in Yushan City as well. Even the Lord of Golden Moon Hall of the Blood Demon Sect was played by you. If it were anyone else, they would have died more than once. Almost. Xiao Pingan was stunned and couldn't believe it. You mean I haven't escaped from the Blood Demon Church? Zhu Matian is already a demigod. If he wants to find you, you won't be able to escape no matter how smart you are or how many tricks you have up your sleeve. He'll definitely find you. It's not your fault. The gap between demigods and demigods is unimaginable to you. What? Zhu Matian found me? Xiao Pingan was shocked. As soon as he finished his sentence, he found that the entire sky within 500 kilometers suddenly turned red. A bloody sky curtain, like a shock wave, swept across the sky at a terrifying speed and covered the entire sky. Not only that, Xiao Pingan also realized that the carriage he was in had turned around. It was no longer heading towards the east of Yushan City, but towards the north of Yushan City. The carriage was heading in the direction of Yushan City. Through the window of the carriage, Xiao Pingan raised his head and saw that in the sky above the deep valley that he and the flame rhinoceros had just flown past, there was a blood-red pillar of light connecting the sky to the ground. Within the pillar of light, there was a human silhouette that was emitting a demonic aura. The blood-red canopy that engulfed the heavens, with that human silhouette as the center, was spreading out in all directions at a terrifying speed. In the blink of an eye, it had enveloped the entire Yushan City and the land within 1,000 miles of Yushan City. That figure was none other than Zhu Matian, who had almost turned Shangjing City upside down. How could Zhu Matian suddenly appear in Yushan City? How did he discover her? Also, why was the carriage heading towards the north? Xiao Pingan's mind went blank. Don't worry, Zhu Matian can't find you in the carriage, nor can he do anything to you, Elder Jing said softly. Xiao Pingan swallowed his saliva and calmed himself down. Elder Jing, I've always been very careful and never reveal myself. How did Zhu Matian find me and appear in Yushan City? Elder Jing smiled and took out a diamond-shaped reflection mirror. Do you remember this? Xiao Pingan stared at the reflection mirror. This should be the celestial device that the Blood Demons sect used to find me. It can see through all disguises and transformations. Yes, this is the celestial device that the Blood Demons sect used to find you. But do you know where it came from? Did Zhu Matian take it out? Zhu Matian took it out, but it's not as simple as a celestial device. Zhu Matian put in a lot of effort to find you. As long as you pass by it, it will immediately detect you. At the same time, Zhu Matian will also sense that this celestial device has other hidden functions. It's to allow Zhu Matian to find you as soon as possible and capture you as a blood sacrifice. But I didn't touch it. Elder Jing shook his head. No, you did. But you didn't know that a celestial device, the reflection mirror, fell from the top of the valley and fell into the bushes. You happened to fly over the bushes and were illuminated by the celestial device. That's why your whereabouts were exposed. That's why Zhu Matian was able to come here quickly. You just didn't know. Xiao Pingan was dumbstruck. No matter how much he calculated, he never thought that he would be exposed like this. He had only flown over a hidden and deep valley. He never thought that he would be exposed like this. It was simply unbelievable. How can there be such a coincidence in the world? Did I run out of luck? It looks like a coincidence, but it's not. It's not your luck either. It's Zhu Matian's wish. Zhu Matian's wish. Zhu Matian took out these celestial devices to find you. So, no matter how you hide, no matter how smart you are, as long as you're alive and your realm is not higher than his, you'll definitely be seen by these celestial devices at least once. Elder Jing explained to Xiao Pingan, who was stunned. It may be hard for you to understand, but think about it. Don't many ordinary people pray and pray to God to fulfill their wishes? Yes, Zhu Matian is already in the demigod realm. This realm is mysterious and unpredictable. He's already touched the peak of the great Tao. Many things that a demigod wants will appear in the real world. If he wants to illuminate you with the celestial device of the reflection mirror, you'll definitely be seen by the mirror. It may seem like a coincidence, but it's inevitable. Do you mean a demigod can get whatever he wants? Something like that, but it's not as simple as you think. It's easy for a demigod to get whatever he wants, but some things aren't that easy. Elder Jing suddenly looked up at the sky and sighed softly. This Zhu Matian is ruthless. Up in the sky, Zhu Matian was about to go crazy. In just a short while, when he flew into the air and used his divine sense to search, Xiao Pingan had already disappeared without a trace. Even if Xiao Pingan was in the Nine Suns realm, he couldn't have escaped from the range of his consciousness in such a short time. Yet, Xiao Pingan had disappeared right under his nose. Zhu Matian went all out. He used the Blood Demon barrier to isolate the ground within 1,000 miles. He believed that Xiao Pingan was still in this area. Under the cover of the Blood Demon barrier, even an insect or a Nine Sun realm expert would not be able to escape, let alone Xiao Pingan. Then, Zhu Matian's divine kingdom descended on Serene Mountain. Chapter 363. Secluded Mountain was not Shangjing City. There was no powerful nation protecting a ray here, nor were there any demigods who could compete with Zhu Matian. Therefore, when Zhu Matian's god kingdom descended, the entire secluded mountain city trembled. Layers of blood clouds spread out in the sky like banners in an army of hundreds of millions. Like a huge millstone, they slowly rotated in the sky and enveloped the entire secluded mountain. In the blood clouds, countless battle puppets were arranged into battle formations, ready to attack. There were more and more of them. At this moment, in the area covered by the Blood Devil repellent, the whole sky seemed to have become a deep well. Secluded Mountain was at the bottom of the well. The rotation of the well was the layers of blood clouds and the battle formations in the blood clouds. Zhu Matian was at the top of the well. The scene was too horrible. Zhu Matian's divine kingdom was like a huge space invading the sky above Secluded Mountain. The huge pressure could make all lives tremble. The so-called people in front of the divine kingdom were like ants in front of a landslide. What's going on? What's that? In the east of Secluded Mountain City, the summoners, Naga sorcerers, and demon wolf sorcerers who were fighting for gold coins and celestial weapons had all stopped. They looked up at the blood clouds in the sky and the countless battle formations looming in the blood clouds. To be honest, these people had never seen such a scene in their lives. Demigods rarely appeared in front of ordinary people, let alone fight. But at this moment, Zhu Matian was crazy and did not care about anything. The divine kingdom slowly descended. The huge spatial pressure caused the air in the entire secluded mountain to become manic. It was as if it was being squeezed. The wind in the calm sky began to howl. Sand and stones flew. Tornadoes were born out of thin air. They appeared on the ground and rolled up trees. Then, in the sky, streaks of purple-red lightning appeared one after another, densely packed. With the arrival of these lightning bolts, hail, heavy rain, and snowstorms alternated in different parts of the entire Serene Mountain. All the celestial phenomena had been completely disrupted. The whole earth was shaking like an earthquake. The highest peak outside Secluded Mountain City, where the Golden Moon Temple Master once stood, suddenly collapsed. Billions of tons of rocks rolled down from the mountain, burning along the way. In the blink of an eye, half of the valley was destroyed. The river had stopped flowing. The fish and prawns in the river were desperately jumping out of the water. All kinds of beasts in the forest rushed out of the forest in groups, trying to escape into the distance. The ground began to crack. Bottomless cracks appeared on the ground. Magma was boiling. This scene was like the end of the world. No, it was the end of the world. The entire Secluded Mountain City was in a mess. What's that? Oh my God, run. Why is there a battle formation in the sky? At this moment, be it humans, beastmen, or demon wolves, they were all terrified. All of them wanted to escape from Yushan City. Xiao Pingan, who was sitting in the carriage, was stunned when he saw the scene outside. The last time he saw this scene, he had used his remote vision ability to see it from afar on the train in Shangjing City. However, that time in Shangjing City, firstly, it was too far away, so he couldn't feel it so clearly. Secondly, there was a power that could match it in Shangjing City, so Xiao Pingan didn't feel the pressure of the destruction of heaven and earth. But this time, the divine kingdom descended on his head, and he was completely immersed in it. Through the carriage window, he could see everything. Elder Jing's carriage was very magical. The carriage moved slowly at a speed that was neither slow nor fast. Very soon, they arrived at the east of Secluded Mountain City, where they were fighting for the spoils of war of the fallen blood demon sect experts. The originally bumpy mountain road should have been very bumpy. However, at this moment, sitting in the carriage, he did not feel bumpy at all. The carriage was like a boat that glided on the surface of the water. Xiao Pingan saw magic wolf mages, a large group of minotaur warriors, and a group of summoners running past the carriage in fear. They flew past and swept past, but those people acted as if they didn't see the carriage. Suddenly, a Naga sorcerer transformed into a huge snake and charged towards the carriage. Just as Xiao Pingan thought that the Naga sorcerer would crash into the carriage, the huge snake that the Naga sorcerer transformed into passed through the middle of the carriage without any obstruction. When the Naga sorcerer transformed into a huge snake, it seemed to turn into a shadow. Xiao Pingan saw the shadow pass through the carriage and his body, and then quickly charged into the distance. At that moment, Xiao Pingan could even see the light green scales on the Naga sorcerer's huge snake. Everything outside the carriage was so real, yet so illusory. Xiao Pingan could hear all the sounds outside, but when those people passed through the carriage, they were like projections of nothingness. When the carriage passed by, the originally integrated space-time seemed to have been separated into two completely different spaces. Through the window of the carriage, the scene outside was like watching a weird 3D movie. Elder Jing, what does Zhu Matian want to do? Xiao Pingan asked Elder Jing with a trembling voice. Zhu Matian thought that you were hiding, so he wants to sacrifice the entire secluded mountain, including you. Elder Jing let out a sigh as he watched what happened outside the window with a slightly pitiful look. If you're not here, you will be sacrificed by Zhu Matian like those people outside. After that, Zhu Matian would be promoted to an immortal. Xiao Pingan was stunned. Zhu Matian wanted to sacrifice the entire secluded mountain. There were millions of people inside and outside secluded Mountain City. Looking at the scene outside the carriage, the boiling lava, the orcs, the demonic wolves, and the countless beasts in the wilderness, Xiao Pingan's heart suddenly tightened. He felt as if there was a hand choking his throat and a heavy stone pressing on his chest. Xiao Pingan looked at Elder Jing with a pleading look. Elder Jing, you. Elder Jing shook his head. Elder Jing shook his head slightly and said, I know what you want to say. Yes, my cultivation is also in the semi-god realm. I can stop Zhu Matian now, but there's something you don't know. The way of heaven is ethereal and unpredictable. This is the death tribulation of Yushan. When the bloody demon cult blocked Yushan a few days ago, those who were not destined to die had already left Yushan when they saw that the situation was not right. Those who were left now are doomed to die. If I intervene now and reverse the cause and effect, 10 times more people will die because of me in the future, and those outside will also die. Today, I can only take you away. Blood red, I appeared in the sky above secluded mountain. Under the blood-red cloud, countless battle puppets and all kinds of strange monsters walked out of the blood-red cloud. They coldly slaughtered all living creatures. Kill them. The summoners and sorcerers in secluded Mountain City looked at the summoned creatures that stepped out of the cloud. They all started to fight with their lives. The huge axes of the Taurens, the sabers of the demonic wolves, the various spells of the summoners and sorcerers, they all attacked the summoned creatures that stepped out of the blood-red cloud. But they did not even cause a ripple. The summoned creatures that stepped out of the cloud, even if they were the lowest level slave soldiers, were enough to make the Tauren warriors feel despair. The famous Tauren army of the Taurens in secluded mountain lasted less than 10 breaths before they were drowned by the endless battle puppets. The snake people sorcerers were swept by the breath of a bone dragon that flashed with blood-red light. All the snake people sorcerers were turned into skeletons. In the Morality Castle outside secluded Mountain City, the disciples of the Morality Castle looked on with pale faces as a group of sky-burning vermilion birds pounced into the castle. In the blink of an eye, the entire Morality Castle turned into a land of lava. Impossible, impossible. I'm a member of the Blood Demon Church. I won't be sacrificed. Ingfian from the Righteous Sect looked at the blood-red army that was surging towards them like a tidal wave with a pale face. But in the blink of an eye, his head flew off. Zhu Matian did not even let the Morality Sect off. The sky and the ground were all blood-red at this moment. The horse carriage calmly passed through the lava that surged out from the ground. It passed through the endless battle puppets and generals, passed through the countless killings, and passed through the secluded mountain city that was almost turned into ruins in the blink of an eye. Xiao Pingan was in the horse carriage. He clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes were red. He raised his head and stared at Zhu Matian, who was at the highest point in the sky. On the table of the horse carriage, Yanxi, who was covered by a glass lamp, looked at the horrifying scene outside the horse carriage and was almost scared silly. In less than half an hour, the horse carriage had traveled thousands of miles and left Zu Matian's blood demon barrier without any hindrance. Looking back at secluded Mountain City, within thousands of miles of secluded Mountain City, it was blood red and filled with accidents. Not even a blade of grass could survive. It had completely turned into a charred land of death. Chapter 364. As soon as the carriage left Yushan, the scenery outside the carriage quickly disappeared behind the carriage like a fleeting light. It was as if the carriage was flying. He did not know if the carriage had deliberately slowed down in Yushan so that he could see the scenery outside the window, or if it had been affected by Zu Matian's secret method. In the carriage, Xia Pingan was a bit absent-minded. Sitting in the carriage, he felt that the carriage was still moving at a moderate speed, while everything outside the carriage was moving backward automatically like the flowing water of the river of light and shadow. Xia Pingan's mind was still immersed in the tragic and shocking scene of the entire Yushan being sacrificed by Zu Matian. His emotions were very complicated, including anger, fear, sympathy, sadness, hatred towards Zu Matian, and helplessness when he realized that his strength was weak. Xia Pingan knew that there was no sea within 100,000 miles to the west of Yushan Mountain. It seemed that not long after he sat in the carriage, a sea full of ferocious waves had appeared in his sight. There were giants living on the seaside, who were preying on the giant beasts in the sea. When the carriage drove to the seaside, Xia Pingan saw a giant hundreds of meters high, dripping wet, walking out of the sea, dragging two huge whales with one hand. The carriage was still moving on the surface of the sea at a leisurely pace, as if it were on flat ground. The giant dragging the whale walked past the carriage, and with every step it took, huge waves more than 10 meters high were raised on the surface of the sea. The huge waves rushed towards the carriage, passed through the carriage, and instantly turned into blurred light and shadow of nothingness, rushing past Xia Pingan. Xia Pingan suddenly came to his senses. The giants are becoming fewer and fewer in the 9 continents. Some experts like to capture giants and raise them in their secret mandala. Therefore, the remaining giants in the 9 continents can only retreat to this barren land. Elder Jing sighed with emotion as he looked at the giants outside the carriage. Ah, there are giants in this world. Elder Jing glanced at Xia Pingan and asked, "What's wrong? Have you recovered? Aren't you surprised?" Elder Jing obviously knew what Xia Pingan was asking. He shook his head and said, "I've seen too many scenes where the weak are preyed on by the strong. I've seen countless races being turned into ashes and billions of people being sacrificed. I won't be surprised when I see Yushan City again. You don't have to blame yourself. You didn't do anything wrong in this matter, nor did you want to hurt anyone. Zu Matian was the one who sacrificed Yushan Mountain, and he was the one who was wrong. Others wanted to kill you. You don't have to feel guilty for the enemy's cruelty. Do the weak deserve to be sacrificed? Actually, there's only one sin in this world, which is to be weak." Elder Jing's words shook Xia Pingan's mind. "Being weak is a sin," Xia Pingan muttered. "In the eyes of some experts, weakness is the original sin. For people like Zu Matian, there's nothing in the world that can be called right or wrong. For experts, complacency is right and disobedience is wrong. The road that can become a god is right and the road that can't is wrong. That's all. If you think Zu Matian is wrong, then the only way is to make him pay for what he has done. Let him taste the consequences and even cut off his road to becoming a god. Apart from that, any emotion you have, any criticism or abuse is futile and ridiculous in the eyes of experts. Whining is the only right of the weak." Xia Pingan closed his eyes. After a long while, he took a deep breath and opened his eyes again. His gaze had become incomparably firm, and the depths of his eyes glowed with a brand new spirit. "I understand. Thank you for your advice." Seeing the firm light in Xia Pingan's eyes, Elder Jing finally revealed a faint smile. "Glad to hear that. Just now, you said that giants could be captured by powerhouses and put in a secret mandala. It seems that you don't know that. When summoners completely comprehend the strength of realm, their secret mandala would be turned upside down and turned virtual into real. With the embryonic form of a mortal country, they could capture giants and put them in. Oh, I see. I have one more question. What's that? Why did you save me? I'm just a spacewalker. It's not a coincidence that we returned to Shangjing City by boat last time, is it? Xiao Pingon watched Elder Jing with gleaming eyes. Elder Jing burst out into laughter. It's indeed not a coincidence. There are not so many coincidences in this world. I saved you because you deserve to be saved. As for why, you will understand it later. Elder Jing's answer wasn't out of Xia Pingon's expectations. He just needed to confirm one thing. Elder Jing didn't have any ill intentions towards him. If Elder Jing had any ill intentions towards him, he would have sacrificed him right now. What's your plan now? Elder Jing asked him. After thinking for a short while, Xia Pingon replied, When I left Shangjing City, I was considering where to go. To be honest, I could only improve my cultivation base by constantly gaining rare realm beads. Therefore, I want to go to a place where I could gain a lot of rare realm beads and get rid of the entanglement of Bloody Demon Church. I've heard that many demon gates have been opened and many void secret realms have been exposed to the world. However, I'm not sure which one is suitable for me. Do you have any suggestion? Elder Jing also turned solemn. The demon overlord has already given you the demon overlord's order. It's very important and could drive demigods crazy. You don't know how attractive it is for demigods to be promoted to immortal. Many demigods would even slaughter cities and countries for it. I'm sure that Zhu Matian is not the only demigod who wants to sacrifice you. As long as you continue to stay in this world, you will be found by Zhu Matian or other demigods sooner or later. As there are too many experts watching you, I cannot save you every time. Elder Jing's words shocked Xia Pingon inside. Xia Pingon finally understood how Tripitaka felt when he went to the Western Paradise to seek Buddhist scriptures. As for those demons, they could live forever after eating a mouthful of Tripitaka's flesh. As for many people, they could also live forever after killing Xia Pingon. As long as they sacrificed Xia Pingon, they could reach the sky in one step. Xia Pingon replied with a bitter smile. You mean I'm going to die sooner or later? There's always a way out. It's very difficult for the Blood Demon Church to stop pestering you. They can go wherever you go. However, there's actually a way to prevent those demigod experts from finding you easily. There's a place where as long as you enter, those demigod experts will have a hard time finding you. Oh, where is it? Xia Pingon became spirited at once. Elder Jing slowly uttered, God-killing insects realm. God-killing insects realm? Xia Pingon repeated. He had not heard about this place before. However, given its name, he had known how dangerous it was. What's that place? The God-slaying realm is the most dangerous void secret realm connected to the Yuanxiu world. You can imagine how dangerous that place is just by hearing its name. It's named God-slaying realm because more than one god has fallen in that world. The biggest feature of that world is that all the gods and demigods from the outside will be suppressed by that world when they enter it. The insect tribe's power will be greatly enhanced in that world, and they pursue God-slaying realm as their highest goal. Therefore, demigod experts from the outside world rarely enter that world. If you enter that world, even if Zhu Matian enters that world to find you, he won't be able to do what he wants. Whether he can find you or not depends on your luck and resourcefulness. Additionally, God-killing insects realm is rich in cultivation resources. It's one of the void secret realms, which produces the most rare realm pearls. I want to go to God-killing insects realm, Xia Pingon said resolutely with a resolute look. As long as he could avoid being chased by demigods, as long as he had enough cultivation resources, and as long as he could not let Zhu Matian do what he wanted, Xia Pingon was willing to go to any place. Is God-killing insects realm large? What's so special about it? The God-slaying insect world is very big. The terrain of the God-slaying insect world that has been explored is larger than the total area of the 9 continents of the Yuanxiu world. At the same time, The god-slaying insect world is a war-torn world where the conflict between the human clan and the insect clan is the fiercest. There is no place without war and no place without killing. Summoners who can enter the god-slaying insect world through the passage of the god-slaying insect world's secret realm are at least at the Six Suns realm. Xia Pingan became dumbfounded at once when he heard this request. Chapter 365. He was now at the Five Sun realm, which was an entire realm away from the Six Sun realm. In terms of divine power, his current divine power was at 5,918 points, which was more than 1,000 points away from the 6,930 points of the Six Sun realm. Such a huge difference in divine power could be made up for by 3 to 5 realm pearls. Elder Jing, do you mean to wait until I cultivate to the Six Sun realm before going to the god-slaying bug world? Xia Pingan asked. Elder Jing smiled. If you're willing to cultivate to the Six Sun realm before going to the god-slaying bug world, Xia Pingan's eyes widened. You mean I can go now? But I'm only at the Five Sun realm now. Ha! Ordinary people can only enter the god-slaying bug world when they are at the Six Sun realm. However, I happen to know some spatial mystic arts. With my help, you can enter the god-slaying bug world even though you are at the Five Sun realm now. Xia Pingan's heart was still in suspense, but he immediately relaxed after hearing Elder Jing's words. That's great. I don't need to wait until the Six Sun realm. I'm willing to go now. Yes, I just wanted to remind you that that place is extremely dangerous. 4 ordinary summoners below the Six Sun realm. Entering the god-slaying bug world is almost certain death. Only those at the Six Sun realm can barely protect themselves. Although you are at the Five Sun realm, your strength is extraordinary and you have many tricks up your sleeves. You are close to the early stage of the Six Sun realm, so you can barely enter. Elder Jing looked at Xia Pingan with a deep gaze. Thank you for your reminder, Elder Jing. However, in my current situation, I am treading on thin ice no matter where I go, so I am prepared. Is the same wherever I go, Xia Pingan said seriously. Elder Jing nodded. Then do you know why only summoners of the Six Sun realm can enter the god-slaying bug world? Xia Pingan was slightly taken aback. He immediately asked humbly, I don't know. Elder Jing, please enlighten me. This is a little long. Xia Pingan is all ears. All right, if you want to hear it, I'll tell you. The cultivation realms of summoners can be divided into 10 major realms, from the One Sun realm to the 10 Sun realm. The 10 Sun realm is the demigod realm. This is the common way of dividing the realms in the secular world. Apart from this common way of dividing the realms in the secular world, there is actually another classification system passed down from ancient times among high-level summoners. Oh, is that so? Xia Pingan immediately perked up. I wonder how the summoner system that has been passed down since ancient times is divided. Why haven't I heard of it before? Because the vast majority of summoners in this world will remain below the Three Sun realm for their entire lives. There are very few who can reach the Four Sun realm, and those who reach the Five Sun realm are already the best among summoners. They can be said to be 1 in 10,000 experts and can already take charge of a region. However, the classification system passed down from ancient times is that the Six Sun realm is the official starting point. The 5 realms from the One Sun realm to the Five Sun realm are collectively called the spirit-building realm in that system. What? The One Sun realm to the Five Sun realm is only one realm. Xia Pingan found it very refreshing to hear that the realms of summoners could be divided like this for the first time. Yes, the classification system passed down from ancient times is based on a summoner condensing a god kingdom. It examines the changing patterns of a summoner's secret mandala, from the One Sun realm to the Five Sun realm. The secret mandala is only a secret mandala. It can't even see the shadow of a god kingdom. It's only a foundation for the god kingdom, so it's called the spirit-building realm. Once a summoner enters the Six Sun realm, the secret mandala will welcome a huge change and expansion. The entire secret mandala will be able to see the shadow of a god kingdom, and mountains and rivers will appear. Therefore, the sixth sun realm, is also called the illumination realm. A summoner in the seventh sun realm will have the initial stage of condensing a god kingdom. The entire god kingdom will need to rest and recuperate like a fetus, so it's called the illumination realm. A summoner in the seventh sun realm will have the initial stage of condensing a god kingdom. The entire god kingdom will need to rest and recuperate like a fetus, so it's called the illumination realm. A summoner in the seventh sun realm will have the initial stage of condensing a god kingdom. The entire god kingdom will need to rest and recuperate like a fetus, so it's called the illumination realm. Previously, he felt that the classification of summoners in the Yuanxiu world using the one sun realm to the 10 sun realm seemed simple and clear, but he always felt that this classification was too mechanical and lacked a certain charm. It was difficult to fully explain the situation and characteristics of summoners in each realm, so it lacked a little meaning. Now, after hearing Old Jing's explanation, he realized that the expert summoners used another classification system in ancient times. This set of ancient standards was similar to the 10 Sun Realm standards, but there were also differences. The ancient standards for summoners' realms were based on the changes in god kingdoms and secret mandrels. It felt more appropriate to divide a summoner's strength. According to this set of standards, he had just taken the first step into the 5 Sun Realm. Xiao Pingan finally understood that the expert summoners and the strong summoners were divided like this. As for why he had never heard of this classification before, it was very simple. For summoners below the 6th Sun Realm, there was no such classification. Therefore, most summoners were still used to classifying their strength from the 1 Sun Realm to the 10 Sun Realm. This way, they would at least have some hope for their cultivation and make the 3 Sun Realm and 4 Sun Realm seem very impressive. Gua 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 gua. The blazing rhinoceros that was covered by the glass lamp seemed to have heard Old Jing's words and kept calling out in the lamp. Its expression seemed to be saying, I know, I know. The two people in the carriage ignored the blazing rhinoceros. The reason why only summoners of the 6th Sun Realm can enter the God-slaying bug world is because the spatial passage into the God-slaying bug world will create a huge pressure and vibration on the summoner's secret mandala. Only summoners of the Illumination Realm, whose secret mandala is already very sturdy, can pass through. Summoners of the spirit-building realm can't pass through the spatial passage because their secret mandala isn't sturdy enough. This is actually a form of protection for summoners of the spirit-building realm. So that's why I understand. Xiao Pingan nodded and pondered for a while. Since the god-slaying bug world is so dangerous, why are there still so many summoners willing to go to this place? Other than those rare realm pearls, there should be another reason, right? Because god springs of the 7 Sun Realm and above can only be found in the god-slaying bug world. Moreover, god springs of the 8 Sun Realm and above can't be brought out of the god-slaying bug world. Even if god springs of the 7 Sun Realm can be brought out, there are many restrictions. Besides the god springs, legend has it that the god-slaying bug world also hides a great secret of becoming a god. No wonder. Xiao Pingan suddenly understood. Those experts didn't want to go to the god-slaying bug world because they ate too much, but because they had no choice. Xiao Pingan was silent for a while. I have another question. I wonder if Old Jing can clear it up for me? Go ahead. I'm just a space traveler. Although I have a little secret of my own, I'm still just a 5 Sun Realm summoner. In the eyes of experts, I'm just a spirit-building realm rookie. Why is that demon god sovereign so bent on killing me? And why is he willing to pay such a high price? This question had been hovering in Xiao Pingan's mind for a long time. Now that there was a demigod by his side, he naturally wanted to get to the bottom of it. In Xiao Pingan's opinion, even if the demon god sovereign knew that he could fuse with the realm pearls without a divine will crystal, and even if he could threaten the demon god sovereign's dark tower in the future, the demon god sovereign wouldn't act like he was facing a great enemy all of a sudden. He actually issued a demon god order and directly stated the conditions for becoming a god. Sending someone to kill him was like using an atomic bomb to hunt. Normal people wouldn't do such a thing. Xiao Pingan guessed that there had to be a reason behind this that he didn't know. Even a demigod would find it difficult to guess the world of gods. This riddle can only wait for you to uncover it yourself. As he spoke, Elder Jing took out a realm pearl and handed it to Xia Pingon. I'll give you this secret orbit realm pearl. The wishful mask on your face can only deceive ordinary summoners. In the eyes of experts or those who have mastered certain secret techniques and special abilities, they can see through your true appearance at a glance. This secret orbit realm pearl doesn't have a divine will crystal, and only a handful of people have been able to fuse with it. If you can fuse with it, you'll be able to master a divine transformation technique. You can change your appearance and body shape at will. Secret orbit realm pearl? It was Xia Pingon's first time seeing this kind of realm pearl. Xia Pingon was filled with curiosity as he took the realm pearl to take a look. He saw that the realm pearl was light yellow, and in the middle, there was an illusory image that was constantly changing into a human shape. It was extremely strange, and the Xiaozhuan on the realm pearl was a person's name, Chun Kunhu. Even most of the teachers and students in the Summer Palace Vocational and Technical College might not know the name Chen Kunhu, but this name was not unfamiliar to Xia Pingon. This was because Xia Pingon was very familiar with Taoist things. He had once participated in the collection and organization of the Taoist canon, and he himself had collected many Taoist classics. Furthermore, because he had studied the secret method of the Jindan stage, he had visited various Taoist temples and famous mountains and great rivers. Among those rare Taoist books that Xia Pingon had collected, there was a Taoist secret book whose author was Chun Kunhu. The title of that Taoist secret manual was The Secret Manual of Transfiguration. It was one of the mystical and mysterious techniques of Taoism, mysterious and unfathomable. Does this secret orbit realm pearl learn various Taoist secret skills? You could try to fuse with it in the back room, Elder Jing said as he slightly flicked his finger. Closely after that, the space inside the carriage expanded by more than 100 times. Although the carriage remained unchanged, it became a small tea room in a huge mansion. Outside the tea room, there were different rooms and courtyards, which were filled with the fragrance of flowers and chirping birds. Chapter 366. Not bad, not bad. Chen Kunhu stroked his snow-white beard and nodded gently at Xia Pingon. You've finally learned this transformation technique after 9 years on the mountain. This transformation technique is one of the secret techniques of Taoism. Now that the outside world is in chaos, it's not the time to practice it. Before the Manchurian Qing entered seclusion, all the Taoist sects had sealed their mountains to hide the truth. They will only appear in the world 300 years later. Now that you've learned this technique, you must remember not to show it off in front of others, nor to use this technique to amass wealth or do anything outrageous. I'll follow Master's instructions. Xia Pingon bowed to Chen Kunhu in his Taoist robe. All right, go and cook. Chen Kunhu stroked his stomach and smiled. Remember to refine some fasting pills for your senior brother and send them over. Yes. Just as Xia Pingon turned around, the world of the realm pearl shattered. In the secret chamber, Xia Pingon's bones exploded like firecrackers after the divine power poured into his body. His bones and muscles squirmed continuously. A few minutes later, he finally opened his eyes. Xia Pingon stood up and closed his eyes for a moment. His face and body were wrapped in a cloud of rolling white smoke. The smoke disappeared in the blink of an eye, and Xia Pingon had turned back into Chui Li's face. Unlike when he was wearing the wishful mask, Chui Li's current face was completely transformed by Xia Pingon's transformation technique. There was a mirror in the secret chamber. Xia Pingon stood in front of the mirror and looked at his own face. He pinched his face, nose, and ears and made a few expressions. This face and this body looked as if they had grown out of themselves. There was no flaw in the transformation at all. This secret transformation technique was indeed extraordinary. After the successful fusion of the realm pearl, Xia Pingon's secret mandala had a white jade statue of Chun Kunhu teaching him the secret technique. The secret mandala's divine power increased by 100 points, and the upper limit of divine power officially broke through 6,000 points, reaching 6,018 points. He was a big step closer to the Sixth Sun realm. When Xiao Pingan came out of the Realm Pearl, he was a little beggar. After asking around, he finally found Chun Daozhang's sect. After going through many trials, he finally became Chun Daozhang's disciple. Under Chun Daozhang's guidance, he learned this transformation secret technique. The most difficult part of fusing with this Realm Pearl was knowing who to look for. Furthermore, one also had to pass Chun Daozhang's entrance test. If an ordinary person were to fuse with this Realm Pearl, they would have no idea who to look for in this vast world. Could this so-called secret orbit Realm Pearl be the various Realm Pearls left by those powerful people in the history of Huaxia? The historical figures in ordinary Realm Pearls cultivate in the secular world, but the historical figures in this secret orbit Realm Pearl seem to cultivate in the secular world. One is the way to enter the secular world, while the other is the way to leave the secular world. They complement each other. This is the essence of the Huaxia civilization that has been passed down for thousands of years. Xiao Pingan looked at himself in the mirror and whispered to himself with a smile. If that's the case, then it's interesting. This secret orbit Realm Pearl made Xiao Pingan very excited. Through this Realm Pearl, Xiao Pingan saw the vast and magical world after becoming a high-level summoner. After the excitement, Xiao Pingan looked at the time on his pocket watch. It had only been 3 hours since he entered the secret chamber to fuse with this Realm Pearl. It was still early. He wondered where Elder Jing's carriage was at this moment. The carriage moved at a terrifying speed, as if it was traveling through space. He was afraid that it had already left the boundary of the Gold Moon continent. Next, he would go to the god-slaying insect realm. As a Sixth Sun realm expert, he should be able to protect himself there. Therefore, at this moment, the higher his cultivation level, the better. Anyway, a few hours would not make much difference. Xiao Pingan simply took out the realm pearls that he had not fused with and continued to fuse with them in the secret chamber. The second realm pearl that Xiao Pingan took out was You the Great Subduing Giants. You the Great should be the ancestor who subdued giants in the history of Huaxia. According to legend, You the Great subdued giants to control the flood. Therefore, this realm pearl should be a side task for You the Great to control the flood. Xiao Pingan held this realm pearl and recalled the legend of You the Great subduing giants in his mind. He felt confident. Then, he took out a silver needle and pricked his finger. Soon, Xiao Pingan was surrounded by a green cocoon of light. When he opened his eyes, he saw a valley. The mountain range in front of him was tall. The two mountains faced each other and looked like a palace. The flood was boiling up and down, but it was blocked by the two mountains. He was standing on the peak of the mountain. Xiao Pingan looked around, and his heart skipped a beat. The surrounding terrain seemed to be Longmen Mountain in Luoyang. In the future, Longmen Mountain was divided into two mountains, east and west. The east side was called Fragrant Mountain, while the west side was called Longmen Mountain. The two mountains were connected, and the Yellow River flowed northward. At this moment, the two mountains were connected, and the roaring flood flowed to this place. Here, a huge lake was formed on the south side of the mountain, drowning thousands of miles of land, and the surrounding area was a swamp country. This is bad. Those giants don't want to work again. Just as Xiao Pingan was sizing up his surroundings, a person ran behind Xiao Pingan and hurriedly reported. Let's go and take a look, Xiao Pingan said without hesitation. Xiao Pingan followed the person down the mountain and saw a group of giants sitting on the ground at the foot of Longmen Mountain. They were fuming and seemed to be on strike. These giants were about 10 meters tall and were as tall as a 3-story building when they stood up. The giants' muscles were intertwined and they were extremely strong. The giants' tools were huge tree trunks and terrifying stone hammers and axes. A giant's labor force was more terrifying than an excavator. You is here. When the crowd saw Xiao Pingan arrive, they shouted and hurriedly made way. Xiao Pingan walked directly to the giants sitting on the ground. Why aren't you working? Xiao Pingan asked. We are all descendants of the Taihao clan. Now, in order to control the flood, we have been smashing stones and moving stones all day. We are tired. We quit, a giant said to Xia Pingan in a muffled voice. Even though the giant's voice was ordinary, it sounded like a loudspeaker roaring in people's ears. The entire valley was shaking. Are you really tired? Xia Pingan didn't get angry. Instead, he asked calmly. We are really tired. We can't even move a finger. The giant said arrogantly. You don't want to work anymore? If you don't want to work anymore, I can agree. You don't have to work anymore. You could just rest here. Hearing this, the giant was overjoyed. There is such a good thing? Yes, yes, yes. We don't have to work anymore. We just sit here and rest. We can't move anymore. The other giants started to clamor. Fine, from now on, you can sit here and rest. You don't have to work anymore. You only need to watch. You can't even move a finger. However, the flood control mission is agreed by all clans. Therefore, you can't leave. You can only stay in our team. You can only leave when the flood is cured. Xia Pingan said with a calm look, you just stay here and have a good rest. You can't go anywhere. I will provide you with food. However, you can't move anymore. Just take a rest. Do you agree? Yes, yes. The giants became thrilled as they thought that they had gained an advantage. Xia Pingan then waved his hand towards the distance. Closely after that, two over 100 long, huge flood dragons swam towards them. With a sound of huala, they raised their huge and grim heads out of the water. Although the giants were tall, they were like babies in front of the huge flood dragons. The huge flood dragons could swallow a giant in one gulp. In the water, the huge flood dragons could pull boats and wooden rafts to transport all kinds of supplies for the flood control army. Seeing the two huge flood dragons swimming towards them, the giants were terrified. In terms of strength, the giants were 100 times stronger than the humans. However, the humans had the method of controlling beasts passed down by the Yellow Emperor. Therefore, the huge flood dragons had to be controlled by humans. Furthermore, the huge flood dragons had already gained intelligence. They knew that only by opening up the water veins could they enter the sea and have the hope of transforming into dragons. Therefore, the huge flood dragons listened to you, the Great's command. From now on, these giants will sit here. The giants can't work, and they can't leave. They can only sit and rest. If they want to move or leave, eat them. Xia Pingan ordered the person controlling the huge flood dragons. Then, he had someone draw a circle around the giants. The giants could only rest in that circle. If they left it, they would die. Yes, sir. The person controlling the huge flood dragons accepted the order. In the next few days, Xia Pingan was still commanding the people to open up the dragon gate. The giants were still supplied with food. They didn't starve. He only had one request for the giants, which was that they couldn't move. They could only rest. In the first few days, the giants were very happy. They only ate and didn't work. They just sat or lay down and watched others work. They felt that they had gained a great advantage. However, after a few days, the giants started to become restless. After a few more days, the giants completely collapsed, because after a long time, they realized that you, the Great, didn't allow them to move. They could only rest in one place. This was even worse than killing them. Not being able to move was the real torture. The giants started to wail. The giants were lucky enough to become the first race in history to collapse because of you, the Great's confinement. When Xia Pingan once again stood in front of those giants, whether they were sitting or lying down, all knelt down in front of Xia Pingan. Each and every one of them wept bitterly and swore to the heavens that they no longer dared to be lazy. They only begged Xia Pingan to let them do some work, anything. You don't want to work, right? Then take a good rest. I'll let you rest forever. It's so tiring to work. Xia Pingan said to those giants, you let us do some work. We'll do anything. We won't dare to be lazy anymore. If we dare to be lazy again, you can kill us. Please let us work. The giant who said that he couldn't even move a finger in front of Xia Pingan a few days ago was now kneeling on the ground and begging humbly. As long as you let us work, we can open up that mountain very quickly. That's not good. If others knew that I let you work, they would say that I didn't keep my promise. I told you to take a rest before, but now I let you work again. The giants cried. As long as you let us work and don't take a rest, we'll do whatever you say. You asked for it. I didn't force you, did I? No, you didn't force us. We just want to work. Please do us a favor and give us some work. The giant hurriedly said. Yes, we can open up this mountain very quickly. You look at our strength. If we don't open up this mountain, it'll be a waste. A group of giants kneeling on the ground tried their best to show off their biceps and firm chests in front of Xiaopingon. Their looks were really terrifying. Whoever dares to say that you don't keep your promise will be our mortal enemy. We'll kill him. Another giant said with a strong killing intent. Xiaopingon held back his laughter. Fine, I'll allow you to work. I'll leave Longmen Mountain to you. When the giants heard that Xiaopingon could let them work and move again, they all burst into tears of joy. In the blink of an eye, those giants strode out of the circle. Under the gaze of the public, they directly ran towards Longmen Mountain with tools in hand while yelling. In a short while, rumbling sounds drifted from Longmen Mountain constantly. Looking at those giants again, after this lesson, they were full of energy and vigor when they started to work again. It was as if one of them was worth two. This realm bead, which could be used to summon giants, was shattered. Chapter 367. Luzon, Port Manila. On the port, Spanish flags were flying everywhere. A Spaniard, wearing a black hat with a feather, metal armor, leather boots, and a musket at his waist, stood on a platform built with boxes by the port with his hands on his hips. He was looking at the crowd around him with a smug look. Behind this man was a group of Spanish musketeers wearing armor and holding rifles. A short, mouse-like man with a mustache and a slightly strange pronunciation of Chinese stood in front of the Spaniard with a flattering smile on his face. He was reading aloud from a piece of paper in his hand. Issue a decree to the chief of the Franco nation. The Luzon tribe knows. Your Luzon tribe has killed more than 10,000 of our Zhang and Quan merchants for no reason. Luzon was originally a barren island, a region of demons, dragons, and snakes. Our high nation's small people have been trading goods to foreign countries, trading with barbarians. For more than 10 years, we have organized a great assembly. We have also been suppressing the people of Dong, teaching them farming skills and governing their cities. Hence, we have become the Zhang district, the first high nation. What has this generation done to you? What deep enmity do you have to kill so many people? The culprit behind the overseas conflict is unknown. Among the four commoners of China, merchants were the most despicable. How can a lowly commoner incite a military revolution? In the midst of the merchants, he abandoned his home and wandered the seas, never returning in winter. His father, brothers, and relatives were despised by all. Abandoning them was not a pity, and instead of using soldiers, it was a waste of resources. Surrounding these people were densely packed with Chinese people living in City M and C merchants at the port. As soon as Xiaopingon opened his eyes, he found himself in the middle of a crowd. The first thing he saw was the Spanish flag fluttering in the harbor. The atmosphere here was slightly depressing. Xiaopingon looked at the Chinese people around him. Their faces were filled with grief and indignation. Many young people were clenching their fists tightly. Listening to the short man reading the contents of the paper in a strange tone, Xiaopingon was stunned. For words immediately popped up in his mind. Imperial Decree of Luzon. This was the reply of the Ming dynasty's Wanli Emperor to the Spaniards in 1605 after the Spanish colonists massacred the Chinese in Manila in 1603. In fact, after the Spaniards massacred tens of thousands of Chinese people in Manila, those Spaniards were also frightened. They were afraid that the Great Ming dynasty's army would retaliate, so they sent envoys to the Great Ming dynasty to apologize, hoping to obtain the Ming dynasty's forgiveness. But in the end, the Spaniards did not wait for the arrival of the Great Ming dynasty's army. Instead, they waited for the Wanli Emperor's imperial decree to Luzon. Unknown culprit behind the overseas conflict. Among the four commoners of China, merchants were the most despicable. How can a lowly commoner incite a revolution? It was precisely this sentence in the imperial decree of Luzon that buried the root of the tragic fate of the Southeast Asian Chinese that continued to be massacred for hundreds of years. Since then, all the invaders and aborigines in Southeast Asia knew one thing. It was fine to kill the Chinese. For Huaxia, this was really a great tragedy. The entire Great Ming Dynasty, until now, still regarded the Spaniards who invaded Luzon as the Franco people. They did not even understand who massacred tens of thousands of Chinese people in Manila. The so-called Franco people was also the first mistaken name for the Portuguese. Finally, the short man finally finished reading the things on the paper in his hand. The Spaniard next to him waved his hand. The short man had a humble smile on his face. He habitually said a sentence in Japanese, bowed humbly, and left. This is the letter written by the Wanli Emperor of your Great Ming Dynasty to our governor. The letter is in the hands of our governor. You have all heard the contents of the letter. This is not forged by us. The Spaniard also spoke Chinese, but his accent was even stranger. He proudly raised the piece of paper in his hand and said loudly, "From now on, Luzon belongs to us, Spain. Your emperor has abandoned you, and it is impossible for him to avenge you and send an army over. You are just the lowly commoners of the Great Ming Dynasty. Let bygones be bygones. You don't have to think about what to do anymore. The army of the Great Ming Dynasty will not come. That's the best thing to do." At this point, the Spaniard's face showed a cruel smile. He waved his hand, and a group of Spanish soldiers on the dock escorted more than 30 Chinese people who were tied up. Those Chinese people were all covered with scars and had been tortured to the point where they did not look human. "We hope that you will do the business that we allow you to do, not that we don't allow you to do it. We strictly prohibit you from bringing sweet potatoes from here to the Great Ming Dynasty. Once we find out, it will be a capital offense." The Spaniard pointed to the Chinese people who were escorted out. "They are the people who wanted to bring sweet potatoes from Luzon to the Great Ming Dynasty in the past year. Today, I will let you know the fate of these people. I hope that you will not follow their example." As the Spaniard's face turned cold, he waved his hand, and the Chinese people who were brought in front of the crowd were brought to the side of the beach by the Spanish soldiers and lined up in a row. The Spanish soldiers stood in a row and raised the guns in their hands. Bang! The guns were fired, and gunpowder smoke rose into the air. The Chinese people who were lined up on the beach were all shot to death. Just shooting was not enough. After shooting, the Spanish soldiers checked one by one to see if there were any survivors. If there were any survivors, they would kill them with a knife. The smell of blood and gunpowder mixed together, reminding many of the people present at the massacre by the Spanish 2 years ago. Everyone's face turned pale. After finishing the shooting, the Spaniard waved his hand, indicating that the crowd could disperse. The purpose of today's meeting was to make the Chinese in Manila give up on the Great Ming Dynasty completely. Most of the Chinese people dispersed. Only a few short Japanese people followed the Spaniards and left with them. "Bah, those Japanese slaves." A man next to Xia Pingan spat at the back of the Japanese people. "Boss, these Japanese slaves are the worst. 2 years ago, it was these Japanese slaves who led the way and cooperated with these red-haired devils to kill a lot of people in Manila. Let's go back to the warehouse first," Xia Pingan said. The warehouse was the place where Chun Jinlong and the other sea merchants settled down in Manila. The sea trade between the Great Ming Dynasty and Luzon was very developed. The porcelain, silk, and other things exported from the Great Ming Dynasty were the favorite of the Spanish colonists. Luzon produced various spices, copper, iron, tin, various kinds of furs, hawksbill corals, precious wood, and even some Western goods. Chun Jinlong was a sea merchant between Fujian and Luzon. The sea merchants and sailors in the warehouse had personally experienced the scene at the dock just now. The atmosphere was a bit depressing. Tens of thousands of people of the Great Ming Dynasty were massacred by these red-headed ghosts in Manila, but the Great Ming Dynasty remained indifferent and even called us lowly people. They even said something like, "How can we be lowly people?" They even started a revolution. The Great Ming Dynasty is going to perish. An elderly sea merchant drank wine and complained to warehouse. He shook his head bitterly. Back then, when Grandpa Sinbao went to the Western Ocean, our great Ming dynasty was so mighty. Now, we are actually being bullied by those red-headed ghosts in Luzon. We traveled thousands of miles to sea to trade. Every time we returned, the port officials were like wolves and tigers. They exploited us. We paid the taxes that we should pay, but we are still untouchables. Someone sighed. The emperor treats his subjects like grass, and the subjects treat the emperor like an enemy. Emperor Yongli's imperial edict to Luzon really made all the sea merchants and Chinese people in Luzon bitterly disappointed. I heard that France is also a small country in Europe. It's like a province in the great Ming dynasty. I didn't expect everyone, although sweet potatoes are good, it's better if you don't smuggle anymore. That's a matter of losing your head. The owner of the warehouse came out and said to the crowd with a bitter smile, "Those red-haired devils are very strict with their inspection. All the goods on the ships leaving the port will be carefully checked. As long as they find even the slightest bit of sweet potatoes, they will lose their heads. No. So what if we bring the sweet potatoes back? We are not untouchables. Even if we bring them back, the imperial court won't look at us highly. We might even lose our heads because of this. It's not worth it." The sea merchants shook their heads. At the sight of Chun Jinlong, the boss of the warehouse remembered that Chun Jinlong often asked him about sweet potatoes last time. He hurriedly reminded Chun Jinlong, "Jinlong, you need to remind your buddies and sailors. If someone brings sweet potatoes on board, it would be a disaster. All the people on board would be in trouble." "Okay, thank you for the reminder." "I know," Xiao Pingon said calmly and shook his head regretfully. "If we can't bring the sweet potatoes back, we can only eat more here. I want to eat more fried sweet potatoes today. Shopkeeper Wong, can you ask the kitchen to prepare it?" No problem. In Manila, sweet potatoes are everywhere. You can eat as many as you want. It's a pity that the sweet potatoes are drought-resistant and easy to grow. They can be eaten raw and cooked. They have 6 benefits and 8 benefits. They're like the 5 grains. If we bring them back to the Great Ming Dynasty, they can save a lot of people in the future when the Great Ming Dynasty encounters a famine. Xiao Pingon pretended to be regretful and shook his head. It's just that this thing is not something that untouchables like us should worry about. At this time, if you want to take away the sweet potatoes from Manila, you need not only courage, but also wisdom. In the evening, before dinner, Xiao Pingon left the warehouse for a while. In less than half an hour, he came back. Xiao Pingon came back with a 1-meter-long sweet potato vine. After eating dinner in the warehouse, Xiao Pingon returned to his cargo ship. Taking the opportunity to check the cargo ship, he twisted the sweet potato vine into the cargo ship. Inside the soak cable, the cable did not look the slightest bit abnormal. 2 days later, a team of Spaniards boarded Chun Jinlong's cargo ship. They carefully checked every corner and every person on the ship. When they didn't find any sweet potatoes or illegal things, they let Xiao Pingon's cargo ship leave. It was not until the ship had completely left the port of Manila that an old sailor on the ship came to Xiao Pingon, trembling with fear. "Master, why are you doing this?" Xiao Pingon smiled. "I'm a failed scholar. I abandoned Confucianism and became a businessman. I don't care about the national affairs, but I know that the people can't go without food. I have read books for half of my life. I don't know about other things, but I know that the sweet potato vine has the words of the sage and the righteousness of Confucianism. I will do what I have to do. Even if I lose my head, I will do it." Xiao Pingon returned to Fujian with the sweet potato vine and successfully planted it in his hometown. As a result, in the second year, there was a drought in the southern part of Fujian. There were no weeds, no crops, and starving people were everywhere. The sweet potato vine saved countless people. Fu ordered him to quickly find a place to raise it. After 4 months, he succeeded. Fu Sui ordered all regions to follow the law and plant widely. The fruits were plentiful, the drought and hunger were greatly alleviated, and the people were all happy. Jiawu and Yiwei successively suffered from famine. He apologized. Only potatoes survive alone, and 70 to 80% of the villagers live on potatoes. Notes of the first potato pavilion. After successfully fusing with the third realm pearl, Xiaopingan left the secret room and saw Elder Jing. We have arrived at the entrance to the secret realm of the god-slaying insect realm. Elder Jing said to Xiaopingan. Chapter 368. In the courtyard of Elder Jing's room, he looked up at the sky and saw a huge blood-red vortex with a radius of thousands of miles spinning slowly in the sky like the center of a huge storm. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the vortex, and behind the vortex, black gas rolled. This was one of the entrances to the secret realm of the god-slaying bug world. Putting everything else aside, just the mere sight of this vortex was enough to send chills down one's spine, not to mention entering the secret realm through this passageway. However, there were many summoners flying in from the sky every second of every day, one or two, or in groups, directly entering the huge vortex and disappearing in the blink of an eye. There were also many summoners loitering around the entrance of the secret realm, observing and waiting. Although the god-slaying bug world was full of danger, it also attracted a large number of summoners to enter it. Those who could enter were all summoners of the Sixth Sun realm. The summoners waiting near the entrance of the secret realm were all powerful bounty hunters. Occasionally, there would be zergs from the god-slaying bug world coming out from this entrance and being hunted by the summoners guarding here. Some people were hunting here to adapt in advance and prepare for entering the god-slaying bug world in the future. Elder Jing also looked up at the huge vortex spinning in the sky and introduced it to Xiaopingan. Below the entrance of the secret realm is the chaotic ice field, the northernmost outside of the 9 great continents. Many experts of the Sixth Sun realm and above from the 9 great continents will enter the god-slaying bug world from here. After entering the god-slaying bug world from here, you will appear in hundreds of random places in the god-slaying bug world. Then, it will depend on your own fate. In the god-slaying bug world, you can distinguish the strength of the zergs by the color of their bodies. Black zergs are equivalent to 6 Sun realm. Red zergs are equivalent to 7 Sun realm. Blue zergs are equivalent to 8 Sun realm. And golden zergs are equivalent to demigods. Under normal circumstances, you only need to look at the color of the zergs to know whether you should fight or flee. Xiaopingan frowned slightly. Are the zergs born in the 6th Sun realm? Nope. In the abyss worm nest of the god-slaying insect world, there are naturally some insect larvae. Those larvae are not very strong, but the abyss worm nest of the god-slaying insect world is the most dangerous place. It is the forbidden area of the god-slaying insect world. Even a demigod might not be able to come out alive after entering it. The insect larvae are all in the abyss worm nest of the god-slaying insect world. Their bodies are gray or green, and they will not step out of the abyss until they mature. Therefore, most of the insects you encounter are adult insects. Over the past tens of thousands of years, countless human experts, demigods, and even deities, as well as many countries and sects, have waged countless wars in order to monopolize the resources of the god-slaying insect world. They all want to conquer the god-slaying insect world. Countless experts have entered it. Thank you. After a while, when you enter the tunnel of the secret realm, take this in hand. You will be able to pass through the tunnel of the secret realm safely. When you arrive there, you have to rely on yourself. Elder Jing said as he took out a golden feather which was giving out a layer of holy brilliance. He passed it to Xiaopingan and reminded him, "This feather is made by my secret method. It's called King Rock's feather. It's a bit heavy, although the feather looked light. The moment Xiaopingan took it, he felt heavy in his hand. He knew that Elder Jing didn't cheat him. That feather weighed over 500 kilograms. Xiaopingan put that feather into his space teleportation warehouse. After that, he threw a glance at that poor frog which was still covered by the lampshade in the room in the distance and said, "Ahem, ahem, Elder Jing, that frog. Don't worry, that frog's secret mandala has been damaged. As it's still in shock, it couldn't use its immortal strength. It's seeking for death in the god-killing insects realm. It's also dangerous to leave it outside. After a few days, when its secret mandala is stabilized and it can use its immortal strength, I will set it free. It can go wherever it likes. How to leave here? You'll be outside if you fly out of this courtyard. Thanks for your help, Elder Jing. Hope to see you again. Xiao Pingon took a deep breath. His body was surrounded by a cloud of white mist. After a few seconds, he recovered his original appearance. He bowed to Elder Jing. Without saying anything, he jumped out of the courtyard and appeared in the sky outside. The moment Xiao Pingon flew out of the courtyard, he lowered his head to look again, only to see the boundless snow-white ice plains and icebergs beneath his feet. What carriage, what courtyard, all of it was as if they didn't exist. This was thousands of meters high in the sky, and the cold wind was whistling in the air, cutting his face painfully. His robes were fluttering in the wind. There were many summoners who had come here. Many of them had used secret techniques to conceal themselves and had only revealed themselves when they arrived. Therefore, Xiao Pingon's sudden appearance in the air wasn't considered abrupt. Xiao Pingon summoned a layer of transparent water membrane, which wrapped around his body like a bubble. Only then did the wind that cut his face suddenly disappear. Thousands of meters away, a team of bounty hunters in the air noticed Xiao Pingon's arrival. One of them was slightly stunned as he felt that Xiao Pingon looked familiar. He didn't know where he had seen Xiao Pingon before, but he couldn't remember where. Xiao Pingon had already soared into the sky. His figure was like lightning as he rapidly flew towards the huge whirlpool in the sky. When he reached the edge of the whirlpool, Xiao Pingon suddenly stopped. He raised his head and looked at the terrifying whirlpool above him. A smile and a look of determination appeared on his face. Then, Xiao Pingon's rumbling laughter resounded in the sky. Everyone within 100 miles of the sky could hear it. Ha ha, demon overlord, Zhu Ma Tian, trash of bloody demon church. Don't you want to kill me, Xiao Pingon? Aren't you looking for me all over the world? I'm still alive and well. I'm about to enter the god-killing insect realm. If you have the guts, come and find me in the god-killing insect realm. Let's see who's going to die. There were a lot of people in the sky, especially the summoners who were patrolling in the sky. Many summoners who had flown over were shocked when they heard Xiao Pingon's declaration. Xiao Pingon? That man is Xiao Pingon? After saying those words, Xiao Pingon didn't wait for the surrounding summoners to approach and react. He turned around, flashed, and directly entered the huge vortex and black fog behind him, disappearing in an instant. In the courtyard, Elder Jing looked up at Xiao Pingon's disappearing figure and said, "You've got guts." When Xiao Pingon had changed back to his original appearance, Elder Jing had already guessed what Xiao Pingon was going to do, but he did not stop him. Xiao Pingon had indeed fused with the realm transformation pearl, which was almost impossible for anyone else to fuse with, without the help of the divine thought crystal. Then, when he entered the god-slaying bug realm, he had indeed challenged the blood demon sect and Zhu Ma Tian and defeated them. If the blood demon church really wanted to enter the god-killing insect realm to find Xiao Pingon, given the environment of the god-killing insect realm, the experts of the blood demon church would probably suffer heavy losses before they could find Xiao Pingon. Under the demon overlord's order, the experts of the blood demon church would probably have to follow Xiao Pingon into the god-killing insect realm. Xiao Pingon had almost single-handedly restrained the entire blood demon church and Zhu Ma Tian. Would Zhu Ma Tian enter the god-killing insect realm? Elder Jing was not sure, because a demigod's power would be suppressed in the god-killing insect realm, and he would be in danger of dying. Glancing at the commotion caused by Xiao Pingon in the sky, Elder Jing turned around calmly and opened a door outside the courtyard. Behind the door was a magnificent divine hall, which was as magnificent as a heavenly palace. The ground of the divine hall was covered with shining, priceless gems. The huge pillars in the divine hall were all made of gold and mithril. Below the tall dome of the temple, there were brilliant stars. Below the dome, there was a high platform where tens of thousands of dragons were subdued. The dragons used their bodies to support a huge tower. In front of the tower, there were two statues of rocks with 6 pairs of wings standing opposite each other, guarding the steps of the high platform. Behind the steps, there was a tall and splendid divine throne. The background of the divine throne was a towering tree. At this moment, the divine throne was suspended in the air with thousands of stars shining on it. It was so magnificent that words could not describe it. Even a demigod was as humble as a speck of dust here. Step by step, Elder Jing came to the front of the high tower, which was subdued by tens of thousands of dragons. He didn't step onto the stairs. Instead, he knelt down in front of the empty throne at the foot of the stairs. At the same time, he put his hands on his chest and prayed piously. The God of gods, the ruler of the universe, the dominator of light and time and space, the protector of billions of dragons, the supreme emperor of trance and feather clans, the supreme will, the God of creation and karma, the common mentor of humans and gods, your pious and humble believer prays for your arrival. Following Senior Jing's devout prayer, a golden ray of light with a mighty intent shone from the void and illuminated the throne of the pagoda. In the light, a figure was already sitting on the divine throne. When the light slowly dissipated, a young man was already sitting on the divine throne. The young man had a strange smile on his face, and he was playing with a strangely shaped rainbow fruit in his hand. At the sight of the figure in the light, Elder Jing became a bit thrilled as his heart pounded. Only after throwing a glance at the person on the divine throne, he lowered his head more piously and said, "My lord, I've already sent Xia Pingon to God's killing insects realm according to your will." "Very good. You've done well." The youth on the divine throne opened his mouth before taking a bite of the fruit in his hand casually. Brilliant brilliance flew out of the fruit like juice and aroma. Only a wisp of trivial chi leaked out of the brilliance, filling the entire magnificent Hieron with surging divinity. In the chi, Elder Jing, who was half kneeling on the ground, only took a breath before feeling being filled with his immortal energy in a split second. At the same time, his immortal kingdom became a bit more stable. He felt that he had touched the mystery of being a deity a bit more. As a result, his realm improved a bit more. Elder Jing was in awe at this moment. Unconsciously, Elder Jing took a few deep breaths. "My lord, I have a question. Please enlighten me, my lord." "Go ahead. Who on earth is Xia Pingon? Why do you care about him so much, my lord?" Elder Jing asked. The person on the divine throne replied with a smile. "Don't ask. This is a game between me and the demon overlord. It's a secret among secrets. Only the demon overlord and I know about it. If you know about it, a wisp of the strength of karma would be involved with you. Your God's kingdom would be shattered for sure. This wisp of the strength of karma could cause you to die right now. Even if your divine soul could be reincarnated, you would lose the hope of becoming a god forever." Elder Jing was instantly terrified. This secret was too terrifying. He only knew that a trace of the power of karma was enough to shatter his divine kingdom as a demigod. He would die immediately and lose all hope of becoming a demigod forever. Elder Jing didn't dare ask any more as he retreated and left the hall step by step. After eating the fruit, the person on the divine throne smacked his lips. Then, he looked into the distance through the void as he muttered with a smile, "It's up to you." Soon after he finished his words, some beauties suddenly stretched out of the void of the hall and caught that person on the divine throne. Then, the gentle laughter of a few women could be heard from the temple. "Sisters, we've caught him. Gosh, he's only accompanied us for a few days." In the blink of an eye, he disappeared again. Zhang Tai picked himself up from the divine throne as he rubbed his face and hands helplessly and walked towards the void. Alas, it's all for the sake of the harmony of the universe. Chapter 2. Updated in the evening. Chapter 369. This was Xia Pingon's first time passing through the passage of the Void Secret Realm. His surroundings were dyed red, and he felt as if he was sitting in a fighter jet performing stunts. A huge overload surged in from all directions, tightly constricting the blood flowing in his body, making him feel dizzy. Of course, for a 5-sun realm summoner, this bit of pressure was nothing. What was truly difficult and deadly was actually the vibration and pressure from the secret mandala. The vibration and pressure went from weak to strong, from shallow to deep. The secret mandala felt like it was experiencing an earthquake. The tremors were gradually increasing. Xiao Pingan felt that his secret mandala was like a rubber ball being slowly squeezed between two large shovels of excavators. As long as the two excavators exerted a little force, it would explode. The panic and helplessness brought to the summoner by the pressure of the secret mandala left a deep impression on him. Fortunately, the passage into the secret realm seemed to be a spiral, and Xiao Pingan had enough time to adjust and choose. After confirming that the secret mandala of a 5-sun realm summoner was indeed unable to withstand the pressure of entering the god-slaying bug world, Xiao Pingan took out the feather that Elder Jing had given him. As soon as the feather was taken out, it emitted a gentle light that wrapped around Xiao Pingan. In an instant, the pressure on Xiao Pingan's body and the secret mandala disappeared without a trace. When a violent power in the secret realm's passage passed through the feather, it seemed to become soft and gentle, like a raging flood turning into a gurgling stream. Xiao Pingan thought to himself, "This king rock feather that Elder Jing refined is indeed amazing." Elder Jing's secret technique seems to have a unique and powerful ability in space and flight. It's too powerful. Taking advantage of the time in the passage of the secret realm, Xiao Pingan activated the secret technique of transformation. A mist covered Xiao Pingan's entire body. In just a moment, Xiao Pingan's face once again changed into that of the cultured Chui Li. He had revealed his true form just now to provoke the Blood Demon Church and Zhu Matian, and also to tell Yin Duo and the others that he was safe and sound. The reason he dared to do so was because the secret technique of transformation was his trump card. The temptation of becoming a god was too great. If he appeared in the god-slaying bug world with his true appearance, it would attract others to kill him. Xiao Pingan was not that stupid. Xiao Pingan did not believe that others would be able to recognize him if he changed his face in the blink of an eye. After about 7 or 8 minutes in the passage of the secret realm, Xiao Pingan's body suddenly shook, and his feet landed on the ground. He appeared in a forest shrouded in mist. The forest was filled with towering trees that were as thick as dozens of people hugging each other. The trees looked like huge pine trees that were 300 to 400 meters tall. Thick fog pervaded the entire forest, and visibility was very low. The brilliance of the king rock's feather in his hand had already dimmed by a third. However, it seemed that it could still be used. The moment he landed, Xiao Pingan glanced around. Closely after that, he put away the king rock's feather. Closely after that, he hid himself in a fire beacon illusion. Closely after that, he jumped onto a huge pine and started to carefully observe this place. This should be somewhere in the god-slaying bug world. Xiao Pingan did not know where it was. According to Elder Jing, after entering the passage of the secret realm, one would randomly appear in hundreds of places in the god-slaying bug world. Xiao Pingan did not know where he was. Out of caution in a dangerous place, Xiao Pingan decided to observe the environment first. The entire forest of huge pine trees was covered in mist. Behind the dense mist above his head, there was a ball of light, which should be the sun of this world. Xiao Pingan raised his head and took a look at the pine cones hanging above his head. They were more than 1 meter high, as big as a person. Some of the pine cones had fallen to the ground. On the ground, there was a thick layer of pine needles and a trace of rotten soil. In addition, there were some low plants on the ground. However, as the sunlight was blocked by the huge pine forest, those plants were relatively short. Xiao Pingan wanted to use his remote viewing ability to observe the surroundings. Therefore, he slowly closed his eyes. A few seconds later, Xiao Pingan opened his eyes. There was a trace of surprise in his eyes. This was because he suddenly realized that his remote viewing ability had suddenly disappeared after coming to the god-slaying bug world. This world was filled with a strange and powerful force that completely suppressed and blocked his remote viewing ability. Just now, When he used his remote viewing ability to take a look, all he saw was pitch black. Xiao Pingan was shocked. This god-slaying bug world is indeed strange. It can even suppress the power of demigods and deities. It seems that it's not a big deal that my special ability has been suppressed. Since he could not rely on his remote viewing ability, he could only use the primitive method to slowly figure out the surrounding situation and then think of a way to leave this place. Xiao Pingan gave it a try. Fortunately, his flying ability was still there, which made him feel slightly relieved. However, at this time, in a situation where he did not know his surroundings, it was the most unwise action to rashly fly into the sky. If he was not careful, he might become a target. The fog in the surrounding forest was too thick, and it was strangely quiet. There was no sound at all, which seemed a little abnormal. Xiao Pingan was about to summon the boy god of fortune and let him scout the way for him to find a safe way out of this forest, when suddenly, there was a strange sound in the sky. Xiao Pingan looked up and saw a huge black shadow with a pair of wings spread out over the forest like a meteor. The black shadow was too big. When it spread its wings, it was more than 200 meters long. Not only was it big, but it was also extremely fast. When it flew over the forest, the wind that the black shadow spread out its wings blew through the forest like a storm. The fog in the entire forest tumbled, and the wind blew away a lot of the fog in the forest, revealing a clear path. As for the giant pine trees in the forest, they were also blown away by the wind. Many pine cones fell from the trees and shattered on the ground like bombs. Pine cones the size of a fist were scattered all over the ground. The thick fog dissipated a lot, and Xiao Pingan saw that the thing that had just flown over the forest was a huge eagle with red wings that constantly flashed with lightning. Black, red, blue, gold, red should be equivalent to a 7-sun realm summoner. Xiao Pingan jumped in fright and was secretly glad that he did not rashly fly into the sky just now. Otherwise, it would be terrible. Seeing the red eagle fly away and draw a trajectory in the air, Xiao Pingan suddenly thought of something and hurriedly covered his ears. In the next second, a terrifying sonic boom flashed above Xiao Pingan's head. Even though Xiao Pingan covered his ears, the intense vibrations and shock waves still made his ears go numb. Less than a minute after the eagle flew away, there was another sound in the sky. 3 red insects quickly flew across the sky and stuck close to the forest, chasing after the red eagle. The 3 strange insects at the back were much smaller. Each of them was about 10 meters long and had large pieces of red armor-like hard shells. Each strange insect also had 2 pairs of huge dragonfly-like wings and long sharp horns on their heads. Their speed was not much slower than the red giant eagle. They seemed to be chasing the red giant eagle. The fog in the forest was once again blown away by the gale in the air. After a short while, another sharp sonic boom sounded from the sky above the forest. Xiao Pingan waited until the 3 insects in the sky had completely flown away and disappeared from his sight before he let out a long sigh of relief. The god-slaying bug realm was indeed too dangerous. He had only just arrived, and he had already encountered 4 7-sun realm monsters. And at this moment, that black insect was like a huge black scorpion. It was 7 to 8 meters long and had 3 pairs of legs. Each pair of front legs was more than a meter long and were as black as ink and as sharp as knives. That strange insect was extremely ugly. On its head, there was a row of scarlet compound eyes. It was currently scanning the forest, and under the row of compound eyes was the strange insect's sharp mouth that exposed its fangs. That strange insect's head slowly turned and slowly walked towards Xiao Pingan's hiding place. Suddenly, when that strange black insect was less than 50 meters away from Xiao Pingan's hiding place, it suddenly stopped moving and tilted its ugly head to look at Xiao Pingan's hiding place. It suddenly fell silent for 2 seconds. Xiao Pingan was currently holding his breath under the illusion of invisibility. When that strange insect tilted its head and didn't move, Xiao Pingan suddenly felt a sense of danger. Not good. Xiao Pingan didn't even think about it. As he fiercely jumped from the tree trunk, he was hiding into another huge pine tree beside him. That strange black insect on the ground moved as fast as lightning. It went from extreme stillness to extreme movement in an instant. Its speed wasn't any slower than Xiao Pingan's, and it even seemed to be a bit faster. Like a praying mantis on a hunt, it suddenly bounced up from the ground and rushed to the tree trunk where Xiao Pingan was hiding. Its two long front legs stabbed out like sharp swords and pierced through the trunk of the huge pine tree that Xiao Pingan was hiding in. If Xiao Pingan hadn't reacted fast enough and dodged in advance, Xiao Pingan would have been pierced through the tree trunk with just this one blow. At the same time, black ice started to spread out from the trunk of the huge pine tree where the black wormhole penetrated through. The trunk of the huge pine tree, which could only be encircled by over 10 people, exploded at once, causing the entire huge pine tree to collapse. Chapter 370. Boom! The sound of a several hundred-meter tall pine tree falling down wasn't small at all. It was just like a train running on the ground. The surrounding several hundred-meter wide ground was shaking. The pine branches and cones on the nearby trees also fell down from the sky. The attack power of this strange black worm was too strong. It was worthy of being a worm that was comparable to a sixth sun realm summoner. Xiao Pingan's figure flashed, and he waved his hand in the air. A 1-meter-long icicle flew out and blasted towards the strange black worm. The icicle flashed and smashed into the black bug's head. Then, with a crashing sound, the icicle was completely shattered. The bug's head was completely unscathed. Xiao Pingan knew that this worm was very strong, but he didn't expect it to be this strong. The icicle he shot out was so powerful that it could even penetrate a rhinoceros. Its strength was enough to easily penetrate the door of a car. Even if it hit a steel plate, it should be able to cause some damage or at least make a dent. However, the black hard armor on the strange black worm seemed to be even stronger than steel plates. The icicle didn't do anything to it. Xiao Pingan's attack seemed to have angered the strange worm. The strange worm bounced off the tree and chased after Xiao Pingan. Its two forelimbs were like sharp swords as they pierced towards Xiao Pingan. F***CK. At this moment, Xiao Pingan was still in a state of invisibility. However, this state of invisibility did not affect the strange insect at all. The strange insect could easily lock onto Xiao Pingan's figure. Xiao Pingan was in the air. Looking at the approaching strange insects, he once again activated the divine skill, Lotus Flower Step. A lotus flower appeared under his feet, and he stepped on the lotus flower. His whole body suddenly dodged more than 30 meters away, and he even avoided the branches that fell from the sky. Xiao Pingan discovered that the defense of the worm's shell was too strong. The thick black shell on its body was like armor. Since the icicle was useless against it, ordinary physical attacks shouldn't be able to hurt it either. Therefore, Xiao Pingan didn't hesitate and immediately used his killer move. With a flash of light, a black Xuanwu bigger than a calf was summoned from behind Xiao Pingan. This Xuanwu consumed 720 points of divine power from Xiao Pingan. This was the strongest attack Xiao Pingan could summon at the moment. Xiao Pingan knew that this thing was equivalent to a sixth sun realm summoner. It was very powerful and could almost ignore ordinary physical attacks. Naturally, Xiao Pingan didn't hold back. The Xuanwu charged at the strange worm as soon as it appeared. The strange worm didn't seem to be afraid of Xuanwu at all. Its two front limbs stabbed at Xuanwu. Then, the Xuanwu opened its mouth and bit on one of the strange worm's legs. Crack! The sound of ice sealing finally appeared on the strange worm's body. The moment the Xuanwu attacked, the strange worm turned into a huge ice block and was completely sealed. A layer of bone-piercing frost formed on the ground in an area of hundreds of square meters. The strange worm stopped moving on the ground. After the summoned black tortoise finished releasing its power, it also dissipated. Xiao Pingan also landed on the ground and took a few deep breaths. He looked at the strange worm from afar and didn't relax. Instead, He frowned slightly. That attack just now was his strongest attack. Logically speaking, that strange black worm should have been crushed by Xuanwu's terrifying ice seal. But why was it only frozen? A few seconds later, Xiaoping's expression changed. This was because he saw that the black bug that was completely frozen by the black tortoise in the ice began to surge with a layer of black mist. Under that cloud of black mist, the ice that sealed the strange bug was melting bit by bit from the inside. The attack of the Xuanwu that he summoned using 720 points of divine power actually didn't kill this strange worm. At this moment, Xiaoping was also shocked. This strange worm's defense was simply insane. Even if the iron-masked man of the Seven Suns realm appeared here, he probably wouldn't dare to let the Xuanwu that he summoned using 720 points of divine power bite him. But that strange worm was actually about to wake up after being frozen for a while. Seeing that the ice on the strange worm's body was melting bit by bit, Xiaoping also became ruthless. He waved his hand and directly trapped the worm with 5 circle prison spells. Since the first 2 attacks were useless against that strange worm, Xiaoping wanted to try other auxiliary spells to see if they were useful against that strange worm. As the circle prison spell was cast, layers of light flashed under the strange worm's feet. Those layers of light overlapped with each other, and there were a total of 5 layers of light. After a while, cracks started to appear on the surface of the ice block that sealed the strange worm. The black mist on the strange worm's body continued to expand. Then, with a loud boom, the ice block completely shattered and the strange worm's body was revealed again. At this time, there was an additional layer of twisting black mist on the strange worm's body. The strange worm seemed to have completely fallen into a state of rage. When the strange worm moved, it realized that it was imprisoned by the circle prison spell. The strange worm raised its head and opened its mouth, revealing a mouthful of terrifying teeth. It let out an ear-piercing shriek. Then, the strange worm's 2 front limbs suddenly stabbed into the ground, and the black mist on its body surged violently. The soil on the ground churned violently and exploded. Boom! The first layer of the circle prison spell was directly shattered by the strange black worm. Xiaoping's expression changed slightly. In the next 2 seconds, the strange worm's 2 front limbs continuously stabbed into the ground, and the black mist on its body surged. With a loud boom, the 5 layers of the circle prison spell cast by Xiaoping were directly shattered by the strange worm. Xiaoping didn't stay idle. When the strange insect destroyed the circle prison spell, he had already summoned the child of fortune god. At the same time, he also prepared the next spell. As soon as the child of fortune god was summoned, it jumped onto Xiaoping's head and looked around. Then its figure flashed and rushed towards a direction in the forest. Xiaoping followed closely behind the child of fortune god and quickly rushed out. In the current situation, he didn't know how many strange black worms were in this pine forest. He had just fought with the giant black worm, and now he couldn't even deal with one of them. If 2 more came out, then it would be a terrible thing. Therefore, the most important thing now was to avoid being besieged by the strange worms. He absolutely couldn't stay here. He had to find a safe path and rush out of the forest. The task of exploring the path was handed over to the child of fortune god. With the child of fortune god's ability, if there was any danger, it would certainly be able to avoid it. Xiaoping ran wildly behind the child of fortune god, and the strange black worm also followed closely behind. 1 man and 1 insect passed through the fog in the forest, flying past one giant pine tree after another. The strange black worm's movement speed was terrifying and its defense was abnormal, but its attack method was a bit monotonous. It seemed that it couldn't use long-range attacks. This made Xiaoping feel a little relieved. The black worm's main attack method was its 2 long sword-like forelimbs in front of it. It should also have its mouth. When attacked by its forelimbs, it seemed to have a freezing effect. If bitten by its mouth full of sharp teeth, needless to say, it would be very difficult for flesh and blood to resist. The strange black insect started running in the forest. Its speed was even faster than Xiaoping's. After a while, The strange insect gradually wanted to catch up to Xiao Pingon. Xiao Pingon once again used a spell on the strange worm, blinding technique. Blinding technique was one of the realm pearls that Xiao Pingon had fused with in Shangjing City. It was a spell that he had long mastered. The realm pearl of blinding technique was a bit like the realm pearl of fire beacon trick. It came from the tyrant son Hao of the Wu state during the Three Kingdoms period. Coincidentally, this tyrant son Hao had the same name as the son Hao killed by Xiao Pingon. The tyrant son Hao had a hobby, which was to dig out people's eyes. He had invented the torture of gouging eyes. The moment Xiao Pingon used the blinding skill, a black smoke fell on the body of that strange insect. The strange insect that had just chased after Xiao Pingon over 20 m away seemed to have been blinded as it bumped into a huge pine tree. As a result, the huge pine tree shook, causing a large number of pine cones to fall down. However, the effect of the blinding technique didn't last long. Only 2 seconds later, the strange worm shook its head and once again locked onto Xiao Pingon's figure. It let out an ear-piercing whistle and fiercely chased after him again. Chapter 371. Xiao Pingon followed the path found by the Child of Fortune and quickly passed through the pine forest while constantly probing the weakness of the strange black insect. In addition to the blinding technique just now, Xiao Pingon also released a lightning bolt at the strange insect, threw a fireball, and used the Snake Shadow Cup spell to disturb the enemy's mind. He even summoned the Tri-Talent Whip and whipped the strange black insect. The strange black insect was almost driven crazy by Xiao Pingon's fiddling. It kept roaring and chasing after Xiao Pingon. It was during such probing that Xiao Pingon finally found something and figured out a way to deal with the strange black insect. The strange black insect wasn't completely invincible and immune to the attack of the plague spell. For example, the Snake Shadow Cup spell, just like the blinding technique, could indeed affect the strange black insect and cause a temporary disturbance to it. When the fireball and the lightning bolt hit the strange insect seemed to be fine, but Xiao Pingon found that the black gas surging around the strange insect would reduce a little after being bombarded by the spells. In addition, Xiao Pingon also found that the intelligence of the strange black insect wasn't very high, probably similar to that of a wild beast. Xiao Pingon changed his route 3 times in a row and made feints, but the result was that he was fooled by the strange insect. 3 times in a row, Xiao Pingon increased the distance between them. The strange insect didn't have enough prediction of his actions, nor did it have much strategy. It only relied on instinct to chase after him. The thick carapace on the strange insect's body could withstand most physical attacks, while the black mist on the strange insect's body could defend against spells. However, spells would also consume the black mist on the strange insect's body. So, in order to kill this strange insect, the only feasible way at present should be to first consume the black gas on the strange insect, and then use spell bombardment to kill it. While Xiao Pingon was thinking, the Child of Fortune had already led Xiao Pingon through the pine forest and suddenly appeared outside. With the Child of Fortune leading the way, they didn't encounter any other strange insects along the way. As soon as they rushed out of the pine forest, what appeared in front of Xiao Pingon was a canyon in the mountain. The entrance of the canyon was quite spacious, dozens of meters wide. The canyon was rugged with rocks, and there was a small stream. The fog in the canyon was thicker, and the deeper they rushed into the canyon, the narrower it became. Seeing the strange black insect rushing into the canyon with him, Xiao Pingon's heart moved. Could it be that the Child of Fortune had found a battlefield for him? The strange insect was chasing behind him, but because of its huge size, the deeper it went into the canyon, the more the strange insect's movement was affected. From time to time, it rubbing against the rocks and mountain walls on both sides of the canyon, it suddenly slowed down. Finally, Xiao Pingon heard the strange cry of the strange black insect behind him, and stones sputtered from behind. Xiao Pingon looked back and saw that the strange black insect had just been stuck by 2 huge rocks. It was angrily waving its two forelimbs, smashing the rocks that were stuck. Now is the time. Xia Pingan, who had been running for a long time, finally turned around and flew towards the strange insect, summoning the two spells that he had been storing up power for a long time. A clear bird cry resounded behind Xia Pingan, and a pair of dazzling flaming wings slowly unfolded behind Xia Pingan. Behind the wings were slender and powerful legs that stood in the void, a proud neck that looked like a divine bird with a flaming crown on its head, and an indifferent, cold, and ruthless gaze of the divine bird that burned everything. As soon as the sky-burning vermilion bird was summoned, the rocks near the huge black insect in front of Xia Pingan immediately started to soften under the high temperature. Outside the sky-burning vermilion bird, there was a large black thundercloud. Under the flaming wings of the sky-burning vermilion bird, lightning flashed. The sky-burning vermilion bird fiercely pounced on the strange black insect, and the whole body of the strange black insect burned fiercely, as if it was in a furnace. The surrounding rocks immediately turned into lava and flowed down. Then, the thundercloud shrouded the body of the strange black insect, and bolts of lightning directly bombarded the body of the strange black insect. The sizzling lightning wrapped around the body of the strange black insect, turning it into a huge fireball, the sky-burning vermilion bird with 720 points of divine force, and the 720 points of Wui divine lightning. The 1440 points of divine force summoning spell was instantly released, and the strange black insect finally let out a miserable cry. Under Xia Pingan's gaze, he saw the surging black mist on the strange black insect's body quickly dissipate under the flames and lightning. The black mist on the strange black insect's body was originally somewhat thick, but under the bombardment of these two powerful spells, the black mist was thinning bit by bit, and the protection of the strange black insect was weakening. By the time these two spells ended, the black mist on the strange black insect's body had thinned by more than half. The strange black insect finally felt a trace of fear, as if it didn't expect Xia Pingan's spells to be so powerful. The strange black insect wanted to retreat, but its body was stuck in a mountain wall, and it was difficult for it to turn its head, so it could only retreat. How could Xia Pingan let the strange black insect escape at this time? The strange insect had just retreated a few steps when Xia Pingan rushed up, without saying anything. He gritted his teeth and summoned the sky-burning vermilion bird with 720 points of divine force. The sky-burning vermilion bird and the strange insect finally merged into one again. Soon, the surging black mist on the strange insect's body was exhausted by the sky-burning vermilion bird's flames, and the strange insect's body began to burn. The strange insect let out a miserable cry and desperately tried to break free, but it couldn't stop the sky-burning vermilion bird's flames. Xia Pingan looked at the strange insect. It was like a lit firewood, and it was finally melting bit by bit under the sky-burning vermilion bird's flames. By the time the sky-burning vermilion bird's flames disappeared, the mountain valley was filled with surging heat. The burned stones on the ground flowed into the stream, and large amounts of steam rose up. 4/5 of the strange insect's body had been turned to ashes, and only some charred ashes were left. The remaining 1/5 was the strange insect's tail, and a small section was left outside the range of the flames, but it was already charred black. In the pile of charred ashes, a faint light flashed, and it immediately attracted Xia Pingan's attention. Xia Pingan walked over and swept his gaze over the ashes. From the ashes, he found a realm pearl and a finger-long black crystal. He picked up the realm pearl and found that there were 4 words on it: fight to the last stand. As for the black crystal, it was about the length of a finger and was rhombus-shaped. When he touched it, he could feel the surging divine force within it. Chapter 372. Fight with his back to the wall. Xia Pingan had already fused with this realm pearl before. The effect of this realm pearl could be used to summon battle dolls, allowing the summoned battle dolls to explode with greater lethality in battle. Although it was a realm-crossing pearl, it was better than nothing. As for the black crystal, Xiao Pingon did not know what it was. He could feel that there was a surge of divine power in it, but the divine power in the black crystal seemed a little strange. It was a little manic, a little different from the divine power he could freely use in the secret mandala. Not knowing what the black crystal was for, Xiao Pingon put away the 2 battle spoils. He looked at the valley in front of him again, turned around, and quickly left. Xiao Pingon used the illusion of fire beacon to hide his figure, allowing himself to move quickly in the narrow valley. At the same time, he took out the elixirs in the space warehouse to quickly replenish his divine power. In order to kill that strange black bug, Xiao Pingon had already consumed more than 3,000 points of divine power. At the moment, his secret mandala only had 2,688 points of divine power. If another strange bug like that came, it would be difficult to deal with it with this little amount of divine power, so he had to replenish some divine power. Fortunately, Xiao Pingon had already prepared when he left Shangjing City. Now, he had prepared enough Shunli Dan in his space equipment. He still had a lot of level 2, level 3, and even level 4 Shunli Dan in his space warehouse. They could replenish more than 150,000 points of divine power. For the time being, he could still use the elixirs to support himself for a while. A level 1 Shunli Dan could replenish 50 points of divine power. A level 2 Shunli Dan could replenish 100 points of divine power. A level 3 Shunli Dan could replenish 300 points of divine power. A level 4 Shunli Dan could replenish 500 points of divine power. After swallowing 6 level 4 Shunli Dan, Xiao Pingon's secret divine power quickly increased by 3,000 points, recovering to 5,688 points. However, Xiao Pingon was not happy at all. Instead, he immediately felt the enormous pressure of survival in the god-slaying bug world. According to his current consumption rate, even if the Shunli Dan in his space warehouse could replenish more than 150,000 points of divine power, an ordinary black bug would consume almost 3,000 points of divine power. This meant that all the Shunli Dan he could only deal with about 56 Sun Realm bugs at most. 56 Sun Realm black bugs. In other places, it might be a lot, but in this world, it was nothing because this world did not lack these bugs. These were only 6 Sun Realm bugs. If he encountered 7 Sun Realm or 8 Sun Realm bugs, wouldn't it be even more dangerous? No, the other summoners who came here must have other ways to deal with these bugs. Although he had killed the bugs just now, he had used too much divine power. At this rate, even if a 7 Sun Realm or 8 Sun Realm summoner came to this world, they would not be able to deal with more than a few bugs at once. Everyone's divine power consumption was a huge problem. A high-level summoner must have some secret technique or method to kill these bugs with less divine power, Xiao Pingon thought to himself as he flew. Elder Jing had said that a 6 Sun Realm summoner's secret mandala would change greatly. Perhaps that change was the key to surviving in this world. The most important thing was to quickly get the Realm Pearl and raise his strength to the 6 Sun Realm. However, to get the Realm Pearl, he would have to fight and consume a huge amount of divine power. It was a problem whether his little Shunli Dan could support it. He did not do enough homework before coming here, and it was a little rushed. Besides the few words he knew about the god-slaying bug world from Elder Jing, Xiao Pingon was completely clueless about this world of poison. That's right, he did not know if the gold coins in this world were useful. If they were, he still had a lot of gold coins on him. Under Child of Fortune's guidance, the valley became more and more dangerous. In the end, it gradually became a crack in the sky that only allowed one person to pass through. Moreover, the path of the crack in the sky was getting higher and higher. When Xiao Pingon came out of the crack in the sky, the scenery in front of him suddenly opened up, and Xiao Pingon was shocked. An endless mountain range appeared in front of Xiao Pingon's eyes. The mountain range in front of him was filled with strange peaks and clouds. Many of the peaks had already pierced through the clouds in the sky. Most of the peaks were tens of thousands of meters high above the clouds. Several waterfalls flowed down from the towering peaks. Under the sunlight, rainbows stretched across the mountain range like immortal bridges. Flocks of birds flew under the rainbows of the waterfalls. The scenery was magnificent and beautiful. Child of Fortune had returned to Xia Pingan's side and was sitting on his shoulder, naughtily grabbing Xia Pingan's hair. Just as Xia Pingan was looking at the scenery in front of him, Xia Pingan suddenly felt the sky above his head darken. The mountain range in front of him was suddenly covered by a huge shadow, blocking the sunlight. Xia Pingan raised his head. F***, that scene almost shocked his jaw off. A giant tortoise slowly descended from the top of the clouds in the sky, squeezing out a huge gap in the clouds. Its terrifying figure was revealed in the rolling clouds. The giant tortoise was leisurely moving its four limbs in the sky, as if it was swimming in the sea, flying forward. The giant turtle was too big. Its body was more than 10,000 meters long. Its pale, golden body floated in the sky like a mountain. Xia Pingan wasn't a person who hadn't seen the world, but he was still shocked by the giant turtle in front of him. The most surprising thing was not the giant tortoise, but the fact that there seemed to be a city on its back. Standing on the ground and looking up at the sky, one could see the outline of the city on the back of the giant tortoise, the tall towers, the city walls, and the clear outlines of other buildings. Seeing the giant turtle in the sky, Child of Fortune, who was standing on Xia Pingan's shoulder, also raised his head to look. His little face was red with excitement, and he jumped on Xia Pingan's shoulder. Just as Xia Pingan was stunned, he saw figures in the surrounding hundreds of miles, on the mountains, and in the deep valleys, suddenly flying towards the giant turtle in the sky. Xia Pingan looked at those figures. They were all summoners. They had been hiding everywhere before, and now they showed up when they saw the giant turtle. The place where he appeared should be one of the entrances to this world from the Yuanxio world. Those summoners flying towards the giant turtle should be summoners who had just arrived here, just like him. Xia Pingan's heart stirred. He suddenly jumped up and flew towards the giant turtle in the sky. In less than a few minutes, Xia Pingan caught up with the giant turtle. Oh my God! When he flew under the giant turtle, the terrifying size of the giant turtle gave him even more pressure. The giant turtle's four limbs gently moved, raising a gust of wind in the air. It was like four giant oars that were 1,000 meters long were swinging. Xia Pingan saw other summoners flying towards the back of the giant turtle, so he also flew towards the back of the giant turtle. After flying to the back of the giant turtle, Xia Pingan saw the entrance of a city just behind the giant turtle's head. One by one, the summoners landed at the entrance of the city gate. With a wave of their hands, a golden light flashed, and gold coins were placed in a box at the entrance of the city gate. Then, the summoners entered the city through the city gate. There were two charmingly naive wooden puppets with smiles on their faces guarding the city gate. The puppet on the left said, "Green Summit City, entrance fee 1,000 gold coins." "Welcome, summoners," the puppet on the right said. "Green Summit City wants to go to the Undead Sea. If you want to make a fortune, find a realm pearl, and bathe in the Nether Passage realm's divine spring. Don't miss it." Interesting. Xia Pingan stroked his chin and muttered in his heart. Seeing that he could enter with gold coins, he felt relieved. He watched as a bald summoner in front of him paid the fee and entered the city. Xia Pingan also came to the city gate and took out 1,000 gold coins from his spatial equipment. With a wave of his hand, he threw the gold coins into the box at the city gate. Then, Xia Pingan stepped into the passage of the city gate tower. The passage of the city gate tower looked ordinary, but there were several invisible barriers in the passage. When people passed through, those barriers would sweep past them. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.